What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories.
11 WS. Chapter 251. After hearing Sarutobi Hiruzen's reply, now Garp and others are also quite happy. Garp and others, but as Namikaze Minato said, Sarutobi Hiruzen is very prestigious in the ninja world. If Sarutobi Hiruzen can come forward to make peace, then other forces in the ninja world will also agree to cooperate with Marine Headquarters. It is equivalent to Marine Headquarters cooperating with the entire ninja world. The power of the entire ninja realm added together, this is very impressive. Then, Haweko Mundo, do you know anything else? At this moment, Namikaze Minato also followed up with an inquiry. Haweko Mundo is divided into outer circle and inner circle. Aizen has many Arankars under Aizen, and the strongest Arankar is called Espada. Espada and Aizen live in the Haweko Mundo, Palace of the Night, which is a white palace. The reason why Aizen can rule Haweko Mundo and have the power to suppress Espada is because Aizen has a relationship with Hogyoku. At this moment, Aokiji personally told Sarutobi Hiruzen and others such information in detail. In fact, they also knew this information from Shinigami. It's a pity that the Shinigami of the Soul Society today are willing to go to the pirate world to eliminate the emptiness but are unwilling to cooperate with Naval Headquarters. They still feel that Naval Headquarters is like a running dog like Celestial Dragons before, and it is not enough to maintain the real order. Following Aokiji's words, Namikaze Minato and other ninjas looked at each other, and they felt that they had heard some information. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded, still secretly saying that his guess is not wrong. Naval Headquarters is really amazing, even Aizen's most amazing thing is called Hogyoku. So does it mean that as long as the man named Aizen's Hogyoku is taken away, Lannon doesn't have enough power to order Haweko Mundo? In this case, Haweko Mundo will be chaotic, and each is king. At that time, Espada of Haweko Mundo didn't have time to pay attention to their ninja world. Now Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't help but think so. Now, Namikaze Minato asked again, then how much do you know about the four emperors? Namikaze Minato, never forget Bullet. This is the first guy to make Namikaze Minato feel death. Hearing this question, Garp and others all looked at each other. I have to say that Naval Headquarters and the Pirate Four Emperors are old rivals. At the same time, Garp and others have also seen Bullet, what they did after arriving in the ninja world. Bullet used the name of four emperors from the beginning. At this moment, Aokiji immediately said, for the four emperors, our Naval Headquarters also has Haweko Mundo, then Soul Society, and we know them better. For this, Aokiji is still confident. After all, Marine Headquarters has dealt with four emperors and pirates for so many years. When it comes to understanding the pirates, no other forces can compare to them, even if it is Soul Society's Gotei 13, so powerful, but the understanding of the pirates is definitely not as good as Naval Headquarters. But Aokiji's words fell in Sarutobi Hiruzen's ears, but it became another meaning. Naval Headquarters is really better than Soul Society and Haweko Mundo. In the words, Soul Society and Haweko Mundo are no longer in the eyes. This is also called Sarutobi Hiruzen and Namikaze Minato and others looked at each other. Sarutobi Hiruzen blinked at Namikaze Minato and others and gave a wink. Look, we can cooperate with Marine Headquarters. This is really a wise decision. As long as you cooperate with Naval Headquarters, then what will Haweko Mundo be? At the same time, Sarutobi Hiruzen feels that if he is the master, let other shinobu villages also agree to cooperate with Naval Headquarters. In this case, other shinobu villages will surely appreciate him. Sarutobi Hiruzen. By the time, Senju Hashirama, Senju Tobarama, did not completely calm the world of shinobi, because of him Sarutobi Hiruzen ushered in peace. Thinking of this, Sarutobi Hiruzen is breathing hot. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Four emperors, Kaido, the strongest creatures of sea, land and air. Charlotte Linlin who rules the waters of all nations. And Whitebeard, who was once known as the strongest man. And the red-haired Shanks who used to live without a home. Maybe ambitious and want to become the Blackbeard of the four emperors. For Bullet, it should be counted as well. In addition, now I think he is the most powerful Roger among the four emperors. The so-called four emperors, they all have the most terrifying power on the sea, and they are the unstable factors on the sea. Aokiji's words made Sarutobi Hiruzen wait and nodded, but felt something was wrong. Jiraiya reached out and counted. I don't think I've counted it wrong. Repeatedly again. Idiot. Orochimaru shook his head. Four emperors, in fact, there are not necessarily four. All in all, this is indeed a bit. Aokiji has no idea what to say. Now, Namikaze Minato is also afraid that Sarutobi Hiruzen will make up for the power of Marine. Sarutobi Hiruzen is getting old. Every day I look at those who have nothing. Nowadays, many of his decisions are made out of his brain, without reference to reality. The death of Konoha White Fang was a mistake made by Sarutobi Hiruzen's wrong thinking. Now, Namikaze Minato asked tentatively, have anyone played with Bullet among you? The power of Bullet, Namikaze Minato is vividly visible, he is not an opponent at all. I feel that one person in Bullet has destroyed the power of the whole village of Konoha. At this moment, after hearing Namikaze Minato's words, Aokiji and Kizaru looked at Garp one by one. If anyone here must have worked with Bullet, it is only Garp. Well, I did. Garp nodded. Did you find it hard to fight him at the time? Namikaze Minato asked. Garp shook his head directly when he heard the words. What's the hard work? Dealing with bullet back then was a casual thing. Looking at Garp's look, Namikaze Minato already understands something. Seireitei Hiruzen snorted, and sure enough, he was right. Minato thinks too much. Orochimaru licked his tongue at the moment, and asked, then how much do you know about Shinigami? Shinigami obviously has something to do with death. The word death has a special meaning for Orochimaru. Hearing that, Garp waited and looked at each other, his face turned a little bit wrong. The grievances between their naval headquarters and Shinigami, now that I think about it, it really makes them a little depressed. For Shinigami, they are very jealous and really don't want to mention it. Aokiji also had a calm face and said, we fought with Shinigami, so, we don't want to mention it. Hear the words. Seireitei Hiruzen waited and nodded. Already understand the strengths and weaknesses of these major forces. Naval headquarters has fought with Soul Society and has not been completely destroyed. This naval headquarters is really not easy. But, Hueco Mundo, seems to be weaker than Soul Society and naval headquarters. If you cooperate with naval headquarters, you will surely win. Thinking of this, Seireitei Hiruzen took out Naruto's style at this moment and said, don't worry, I will go to discuss with other ninja village shadows, and even the daimyo. Our ninja world decided to cooperate with naval headquarters. Chapter 252. With the departure of Coyote Stark, it is almost possible to officially announce the end of this Whirlpool Nagato incident. But, at the same time, for Konoha village, or for the entire ninja world, the impact of this incident is just the beginning. Time goes by, just a flash. The battle traces that almost completely razed the entire Konoha village to the ground due to the attacks of Uzumaki Nagato and Coyote Stark will naturally not be eliminated in such a short period of time. However, at this moment, Konoha village, under the leadership of Seireitei Hiruzen, Naruto, has begun an orderly reconstruction plan. In the two battles, we lost a total of property. Ebisu, who was in charge of the rebuilding of Konoha village, was holding a scroll in the meeting room, reporting the loss to the senior officials of Konoha village. But, all 18 people present know that compared with the loss of houses and property, the loss of personnel is the real decision of the level of loss. After all, in any case, the former is something outside the body, and the personnel are the most fundamental thing in a ninja village. If there are no personnel, but there are countless treasures, then what is the use? Uchiha clan, how is the situation now? After a moment of contemplation, Seireitei Hiruzen finally slowly asked a relatively critical question. You know, the ambitions of the Uchiha clan and the relationship between this clan and Konoha village are no secret to Seireitei Hiruzen, who has been in charge of Konoha village for so many years. Moreover, Seireitei Hiruzen also knew that in this incident, the Uchiha clan must have a certain hatred of Konoha village. After all, Uzumaki Nagato took out so many Sharingan from Shimura Danzo's arm. As you expected, due to Danzo's affairs, there are quite a few radicals in the Uchiha clan. They want to take advantage of this opportunity that the village is still being rebuilt and make a lot of noise. Ebisu arranged his tone a little, he opened his mouth and said, however, the conservative forces in the Uchiha clan have calmed and suppressed those restless clan members. All the people present are undoubtedly from the real Seireitei Hiruzen faction, and Ebisu is naturally also, so Ebisu's words at this time didn't mean anything to cover up. Where is Uchiha Fugaku's family? Read more at mtlarchive.com. After hearing Ebisu's words, after a moment of silence, Seireitei Hiruzen asked again. Uchiha Fugaku hasn't changed much, just as before. Ebisu said, however, Naruto-sama, Danzo's work is a bit too much. You know, if you force the Uchiha clan, it will be more than a gain. Having said that, Ebisu shook his head helplessly. Seireitei Hiruzen's face was even more annoyed, and he whispered, strengthen the patrol and defense forces, and must ensure the safety of existence, the Uchiha clan, also use snacks. Yes, Hokage-sama, Ebisu nodded. Of course he also knows this. Dozens of Sharingan from the Uchiha clan are on Shimura Danzo. This is a humiliation for the entire Uchiha clan. If they don't pay close attention to the Uchiha clan now, they are likely to be restless. Get up, when the time comes, the entire Konoha village will be devastated. After reporting and receiving the mission, Ebisu naturally retired. At this moment, stay in the meeting room. That is, those familiar Konoha village high levels of course, this does not include Shimura Danzo. Okay, next, let's talk about your views. Looking at a quiet and serious conference room, Seireitei Hiruzen first raised his hand and pinched his tired eyes, then his eyes swept over the people present. Everyone. I think we need to cooperate with naval headquarters as soon as possible. At this time, Tsunade was the first to speak. The princess of the Senju clan has been trying to avoid suspicion. In fact, she rarely really speaks in the conference room. After all, anyway, she is the biological granddaughter of first Hokage Senju Hashirama, and what she says has considerable influence even in the entire Konoha village, even if the opponent is Hokage. However, Tsunade chose to avoid suspicion. This was not because she was stupid. The reason was just the opposite. Tsunade was an extremely smart person. Otherwise, it won't become Hokage later. Prior to this, because Konoha village didn't know enough about those mysterious forces, all their inferences were only relying on guesswork. However, nowadays, the situation is very different. With the introduction of Garp and Aokiji and others from naval headquarters, the senior management of Konoha village has completed a large part of the world view, and naturally they can make more judgments based on this information. According to the news we know so far, there are 5 known mysterious organizations hiding in the dark. The first one is the naval headquarters of Garp and Kuzan. The second one is the 4 emperors who have a hostile relationship with Garp, Kuzan and others. They are all in a channel called the Great, and their overall strength is extremely close. However, the 4 emperors are not like naval headquarters, they are a whole. The 4 emperors is just a loose alliance with interests, and there are still a lot of contradictions between them. The third one is Visored. The fourth one is Hueco Mundo. Espada and their strengths are as powerful as they are, and it is an extremely troublesome organization. The fifth one is Seireitei's Gotei 13. They have a hostile relationship with Hueco Mundo. The strength of both parties should be Seireitei's dominant position. Speaking of this, Tsunade's eyebrows are surprisingly slightly frowned. However, according to the information we have so far, there is a problem that has bothered me for a long time, and that is, why did they appear to us recently? Ninja World so often. Senju Tsunade directly pointed out the key issue. With that, Senju Tsunade's voice fell. The brows of all the others were all frowned at this moment, and nodded solemnly. Obviously, everyone, including Jiraiya, who seems lazy and always cheerful all the time, thought of this. It didn't appear before, why did it appear at the same time at this point in time? At this point, they forgot to ask Garp and others. Now Garp and others have already left. Chapter 253. Yes it is. Before, why didn't they show up? Has it not appeared until now? Moreover, the frequency of appearance is so frequent, which really makes Sarutobi Hiruzen and other Konoha village executives a little puzzled. Could it be that there are secrets in our ninja world that we don't know? At this time, Sarutobi Hiruzen said solemnly. Moreover, even for their organizations, this secret may be a very important one. That's why the situation now appears. With that, Sarutobi Hiruzen's voice fell. The brows of all the people present were frowning, and their faces were extremely complex. Jiraiya, Tsunade, Orochimaru, did you gain anything from going to the 3 great immortals this time? Sarutobi Hiruzen seemed to have thought of something, and turned to look at the 3 of them and asked. Sarutobi Hiruzen's problem was sudden. Konoha Sannin looked stunned when asked. After all, they just came back and Konoha village was under attack, and they forgot their previous mission for a while. The Katsuyu fairy has nothing to gain. She splits every few decades. After each split, a different body and memory will be produced. So, up to now, Katsuyu fairy has already had some ancient things. I don't remember it very clearly. Senju Tsunade was still the first to open his mouth and replied. While speaking, a look of helplessness appeared on her pretty face. Katsuyu fairy is already the best incumbent among the 3 immortals. However, due to Katsuyu's own personal reasons, Katsuyu sages cannot provide any effective information for Konoha village to share. The incumbent white snake didn't tell me anything. Orochimaru spoke second. I told her about Gotei 13 and Hueco Mundo, Espada, but she doesn't believe that there is that kind of existence in this world. There are already 2 great immortal lands with no clues, so at this time everyone turned their attention to Jiraiya. After I went to Mount Myoboku, I visited Immortals Shensaku and Immortals Shima, but none of them had heard of the existence of 4 emperors, Gotei 13, Hueco Mundo, Espada, and the Great Channel. However, they told me that in the era of Toad Sage, there were indeed some extremely mysterious and powerful forces hidden in the dark. However, only Toad Sage knew the specifics. So, I visited Toad Sage directly. When Jiraiya said this. Above Jiraiya's expression, it seemed a bit unnatural. Others naturally know why Jiraiya looks like this. This is because although Toad Sage is said to be the patriarch of Mount Myoboku and the most powerful Toad Sage, it is too old in itself that most of the time, there will be some symptoms of Alzheimer's. Simply put, if you ask him questions, Toad Sage will often answer the wrong questions. Big Toad Sage, he is still a little awake. Jiraiya said speechlessly. But, next, Jiraiya's passage made everyone's expressions extremely serious. However, although Toad Sage did not tell me about 4 emperors, Gotei 13, Hueco Mundo, Espada, he gave me a prophecy when I was about to leave. Read more at mtlarchive.com. About the prediction of the future of the entire ninja world. Hear, hear. The expressions of everyone present suddenly became solemn. Although Toad Sage itself is not very reliable, the accuracy of its predictions is almost 100%. In the past, it was precisely because Jiraiya received a prophecy from Toad Sage and knew that he would accept the child of prophecy as his disciple, that's why he began to travel throughout the ninja world. And now, the great Toad Sage has given Jiraiya a second prediction, which is worthy of everyone's attention. A huge shadow has enveloped the entire ninja world. When the ancient character, the ancestor of chakra, descends, everything will be annihilated. Those who can dispel the shadows bring those who break dawn, some of which are powers that no one has ever possessed. When the enemy comes, a huge wave will swallow everything on the surface. Jiraiya said the content of the prophecy word by word. Quiet, deathly silence. When everyone present heard the prophecy, the atmosphere on the scene fell into a kind of dead silence. Then, everyone looked at Jiraiya, waiting for the end of Jiraiya. After all, In general, every time Toad Sage gave a prediction, there were other toads who gave some explanation. But, this time, Jiraiya shook his head. This time the prophecy of Toad Sage, Shenzuo Shanran and Zima Shanran don't know the meaning of the words. Moreover, Toad Sage, he didn't tell me anything else. Stupid. Hear, hear. Everyone present was confused. The huge shadow, when the ancestor of the ancient chakra descends, everything will be annihilated. This paragraph is very easy to understand. Quote. This prophecy should be talking about what ancient organizations like Hueco Mundo, Espada are doing. Quote. This idea naturally rose in everyone's hearts. After all, according to their guess, whether it is Seireitei, or Hueco Mundo, Espada and other organizations, they should have been passed down from the ancient times to the present, and they can naturally be called the ancestors of the ancient chakra. Single quote. But, the second prophecy and the third prophecy, Sarutobi Hiruzen and others are a bit confused by the monks. The person who can dispel the shadows has the power that no one has ever possessed before. Where is he? What is the power that no one has before? There is one last prediction, a huge wave will wipe out everything on the surface. Why does this sound so miserable? However, it is obvious. Wang Zhao's. Nowadays, no one can give them any answers. Mindful of this, Sarutobi Hiruzen and others did not do too much. Immediately, Sarutobi Hiruzen announced, well, this topic ends here. I want to tell you one thing, that is, I want to retreat from Hokage. Having said that, Sarutobi Hiruzen handed the hat representing Naruto to Namikaze Minato. He gave it very simply. The water in the ninja world is too deep to suit me. He continued. Minato, in the future, you will be our Konoha. The Naruto of the village is over. What? Upon hearing this, Namikaze Minato was taken aback. Hokage-sama, what are you talking about? At this time, Namikaze Minato had no idea that Sarutobi Hiruzen would say such words, and he was ready to refuse. Orochimaru frowned too, but it was not himself. Don't rush to refuse, listen to me. Upon seeing this, Sarutobi Hiruzen immediately stopped Namikaze Minato's conversation. Chapter 254. I have considered it seriously. You now have enough prestige in the village, and your strength is completely competent. Moreover, the conditions of the shinobi world today. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't even conceal the reason why he chose Namikaze Minato for 4th generation. Originally, Sarutobi Hiruzen decided to choose a successor from Namikaze Minato and Orochimaru. However, as the truth of the world slowly appeared before them, Sarutobi Hiruzen also understood that Namikaze Minato was the best candidate for the 4th generation. What happened in Konoha village cannot be concealed from other shinobu villages. The horror of Hueco Mundo and the threat to shinobi are not the business of our Konoha village family. The situation in the ninja world will be greatly changed, and you still have a certain relationship with Seireitei Gotei 13, which may allow Konoha village to survive the huge storm in the future. Sarutobi Hiruzen said every word. But, even if Namikaze Minato knew that Sarutobi Hiruzen was right, he is still extremely entangled today. After all, you must know that for Namikaze Minato, Sarutobi Hiruzen is not only the relationship between the master and the disciple, but also the relationship between Bull and Maxima. However, what Sarutobi Hiruzen said next became the last straw that overwhelmed Namikaze Minato's successor to Naruto. Don't worry, I didn't plan to retire like this. With that said, Sarutobi Hiruzen took out a few long-drawn plan lists from his arms and handed them to everyone present. And it's worth mentioning, on the first page of the plan catalog, there are very clear signs of the 5 ninja villages. It was just a few glances after receiving the plan list. Everyone looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen in surprise and admiration. They had no idea that Sarutobi Hiruzen would make such a decision. Said unceremoniously, this is comparable to the establishment of Konoha village by first Hokage Senju Hashirama, and it is enough to change the entire history of ninja. Ninja League and Naval Headquarters Alliance book, so you were already ready. Tsunade sighed softly, but then, her eyebrows frowned slightly, but will the other 4 shinobu villages agree to this plan? Before, maybe 1 or 2 of them won't. But after seeing Konoha's tragic situation, they will definitely be. And, if each of our villages is a kind of independent body, and Naval Headquarters talks about the right to speak, we must be much lower than Naval Headquarters, but if so, the words of the 5 ninja villages. Sarutobi Hiruzen heard the words and spoke softly. Read more at mtlarchive.com. His decisive and self-confident words showed that even though he was about to resign, he was still the hero of the ninja world who had no plans to spare. Konoha's 47th year at the end. A huge turning point that could change the entire history of ninja world appeared at this time. The source of the turning point is naturally the head of the 5 ninja villages, Konoha village, which has sent some shocking news. The first is that Konoha village was attacked by 2 groups a few days ago, destroying the entire Konoha village. Then, Konoha village disclosed a lot of news that other shinobu village had never seen before. For example, some information about naval headquarters. For example, news about Seireitei. For example, the names and strengths of several people in Hueco Mundo, Espada. The most important thing is that naval headquarters intends to form an alliance with the entire ninja world. The news that was previously only exclusive to Konoha village, now that once it was released, it has caused an uproar in the entire ninja world, making the 4 great ninja villages extremely suspicious. In the recent period of time, whether it is a large ninja village or a small ninja village, almost all of them have hidden these powerful organizations in the dark, as imaginary enemies, and are constantly conducting investigations and studies. But in the end it was almost nothing. However, Konoha village is now presenting these news in front of them. However, it happens that the news given by Konoha village can be said to be perfect and there is no flaw at all. Moreover, the other ninja villages are even more aware that Konoha village has no reason to lie in this regard. Konoha village suffers 2 devastating attacks in a day, but they are real. Who will lie to such a thing in a panic? Ever since, almost at the same time, the large and small ninja villages in the ninja world, including the 4 great ninja villages, were all dispatched together, and the elites and persons involved in the various ninja villages all headed in the direction of Konoha village, the country of fire. Although these ninja villages, large and small, knew what to discuss, they didn't know the specific plan, and they didn't know how much the game was between the villages. After all, headed by the 5 great ninja villages, in addition to the small and medium-sized ninja villages including Kusakan village and Takigakura village, an unprecedented organization is formed. This is actually something that every ninja village is very concerned about. The headquarters of the alliance is set up in complete neutrality, and has long been a place for meetings without a shadow, the country of iron. The alliance will ensure that when dealing with mysterious organizations such as Hueco Mundo, Espada, the ninja villages will communicate with each other and ensure unimpeded contact. And, in the form of alliance, cooperate with naval headquarters. With this opportunity, 3rd Hokage Seireitei Hiruzen even announced a heavyweight news, that is, he will soon remove the position of 3rd Hokage and pass the position of Motohokage to Namikaze Minato. In addition, Seireitei Hiruzen will act as the general representative of Konoha village in the alliance, leading all things Konoha village in the Ninja League. Once this is achieved, it will become the first true cooperation of the 5 ninja villages since its establishment. But, there are always people who don't want such an alliance, let alone any cooperation with any forces. When 4th Raikage participated in the conference, he said that if the Shinobi Alliance can be led by the Thunder Country Cloud Shinobi Village, then 4th Raikage will consider joining. If not, everything will be discussed. The most fundamental reason why 4th Raikage came to attend the conference was to become the highest speaker in the ninja world. Are you sure? Jiraiya was extremely angry with 4th Raikage's attitude. To know, for a long time, Konoha village, the country of fire, has been the leader of the 5 ninja villages. But nowadays, 4th Raikage wants to take the matter seriously, and, between the lines, there is an attitude of disdain for Konoha village. Chapter 255. Chapter 255 Aizen has acted. The sky and the earth, catch the turtle in the urn. Jiraiya is very angry at this moment. What is going on in the shinobi world is facing the huge threat of Hueco Mundo at this moment, but the people in the shinobi world are still fighting for their own interests. Isn't it all about the overall situation? Jiraiya, my Cloud Shinobi village is definitely the strongest among the 5 shinobi villages. At this moment, 4th Raikage still insists on his opinion. Jiraiya stared at 4th Raikage angrily. Jiraiya is not a person who is easy to get angry, but he is extremely angry at the moment, angry for this world. What is the situation in the shinobi world now? Is it 4th Raikage? Don't you understand? In the next moment, 4th Raikage and Jiraiya started at the same time. The 3 ships of the Iron Kingdom frowned. At this time, Seireitei Hiruzen, Onoki, and Yakura moved at the same time. Of course, Namikaze Minato also moved. The most peaking came to the middle of the 2. He and Seireitei Hiruzen stopped Jiraiya. On the other side, Onoki and Yakura also stopped 4th Raikage. In the end, Namikaze Minato, as the 4th Hokage, decided to take a step back. Konoha got the position of Chief of Staff of the Ninja Alliance, and the 4th Raikage was the leader of the Ninja Alliance, but the Chief of Staff had the right to decide something. Seireitei Hiruzen also agreed. Looking at Seireitei Hiruzen, 4th Hokage's mind is not good. Minato is absolutely capable of putting him in the air. In this way, the 5 ninja villages and other ninja villages unanimously decided to cooperate with Marine headquarters. This is the pirate world. Garp and others finally returned to naval headquarters. When they saw the naval headquarters that had been turned into ruins, Garp and others were shocked and secretly asked what had happened. Did Hueco Mundo treat naval headquarters also launched an invasion? After realizing that Whitebeard and others had returned, Garp and others looked at each other in disbelief. I didn't expect Whitebeard to have such a good life, can enter the Soul Society, and be eligible to become Shinigami in the future. But the development of our naval headquarters is not bad. Aokiji said slowly, telling the Buddha Sengoku about the situation in the ninja world, and explaining that Seireitei Hiruzen is willing to help them connect. Buddha Sengoku thinks this is the best news I have heard this year. Next, Marine will naturally enter the ninja world and start signing some contracts with the Ninja Alliance army. This matter took more than a week when it was busy. In the Spirit Palace on this side, Chen Tian is thinking about how to build the existence of an invisible empire this week. Whether it is Soul Society or Hueco Mundo, or an invisible empire, they are all controlled by the Spirit King. The invisible empire is actually not below the Soul Society at all, and even above the current Soul Society. As long as the invisible empire has a good strategy, it can cause a Soul Society catastrophe just like the original book. In other words, the full version of the Invisible Empire is absolutely terrifying above, Haweko Mundo. As for the Soul Society, for a week, Yamamoto Genryūsai Shigekuni sent Captain Shinigami to check if there are some potential seeds in Rukongai, and if there are, led them to the Mao Spiritual Academy. Because Whitebeard's performance was so good that Ace appeared in Rukongai, and Ace was introduced into the Mao Spiritual Academy. Ace didn't expect that the dead self would be reborn in this way, and became classmates with his dad. On the Haweko Mundo side, for the past week, Arankar Bullet and Arankar Doflamingo have challenged Espada Yami, the number 1 Espada, but they both lost to Yami. They called these two guys and gritted their teeth. Aizen directly ignored the dispute in Espada, because Aizen chose the model of survival of the fittest. Read more at mtlarchive.com. At the same time this week, the Spirit King hasn't taken any action at all. This makes Aizen feel like a mountain and rain are coming and blowing all over the building. He always feels that something big will happen next. The Spirit King is afraid that he wants to play a big game. Thinking of what the Spirit King should do at this moment, it's either the Gojian Invisible Empire or the so-called Wonquan. Aizen frowned when she thought of this. She knew that the current, Haweko Mundo, needed to be stronger. Otherwise, the Invisible Empire would come out, and I don't know what it will be like. As long as Haweko Mundo performs well, it will naturally get more power and resources from the Spirit King. Avoid being broken by playing. Ling Wang, do you also choose the way of survival of the fittest? Aizen whispered. Aizen doesn't want to sit back and wait. It's time to do something. Open the mouth of Haweko Mundo, and let the people of Ninja World and Pirate World find out. Let this game go on. Aizen, elegant but not lost, Haki sat on the big seat. Find flowers. With his order, Espada nodded. They will let the Espada subordinate officer do this. This is the plan to catch turtles in the urn. Konoha, Hokage office. The huge damage caused by Espada's Coyote Stark has been repaired within this period of time. The office is still that office. I have to say that after Danzo's death, the people in the Root organization took out and built Konoha, all of them were good hands. There are also some talents in this area in Anbu, such as Yamato. His technique of 2 rooms and 1 hall is very good. Now, Namikaze Minato is already wearing the Hokage royal robe, sitting in the office, in front of him is a mountain of documents. 0. Not just Konohas. There are also some additional contract details sent by Marine. In addition, there are some documents that need to be processed by the ninja allied forces. When Namikaze Minato saw it, he couldn't help sighing. Sure enough, 4th Raikage was a famous person, but he didn't do anything. Namikaze Minato feels that dealing with these things is more tiring than going to the battlefield. But Namikaze Minato didn't complain about anything. He worked hard and didn't complain. He knew that today's ninja world was at a great turning point in history. In the age of Senju Hashirama, there is no wave of times, it happened at this moment. The appearance of Haweko Mundo. Alliance of Ninja World. There is also cooperation with naval headquarters in other worlds. These are all major events that were not available in the era of Senju Hashirama. There is no time for him to be busy, looking for his disciple Obito. Obito. Minato sighed at the thought of this disciple who knew nothing about life or death. Obito disappeared. Minato already knew that it would not be Rock Shinobi of Onoki. Lin's death seemed to be related to Mist Shinobi, but after Minato's investigation, it was discovered that there seemed to be another black hand involved. Thinking of this, Minato went big. There is only one thing that makes Minato happy, and that is the child in Kushina's belly, who will be born in a few months. For Kushina, for Naruto, I must work hard. Let the era of peace in the ninja world come sooner. Namikaze Minato cheered up. But this time, Minato, something happened. Jiraiya hurried in. Chuon. Chapter 256. Chapter 256 The Buddha of Sengoku arrives in the world of shinobi. On the eve of the decisive battle. Ms. Jiraiya, is something wrong? Although Namikaze Minato is now the 4th Hokage, he is still humble and polite to some elders, especially for Jiraiya. If there is no Jiraiya, Namikaze Minato feels that he would never have today's. He is just a civilian, and there is no such thing as the Namikaze clan behind him. He can become Hokage and naturally cannot do without Jiraiya's relationship. Recently, various large villages in the ninja world formed a ninja search team. They searched for entrances about Haweko Mundo, all over the ninja world. Finally, in a small village outside Kurigakure, I saw a black hole, and the breath exuded from it. The breath of Espada is almost the same. Now Jiraiya said solemnly. Following Jiraiya's words, Namikaze Minato's look suddenly changed. If you want to compete with Haweko Mundo, you have to figure out where Haweko Mundo is. This is very important. Because of this, Anbu from the major ninja villages formed a search team and began to search all over the ninja world. Originally, Namikaze Minato felt that for 3 or 5 years, I was afraid that I could not find a clue about the entrance of Haweko Mundo, but I didn't expect that news would come so soon, which was unexpected by Namikaze Minato. Of course, in addition to searching for Haweko Mundo, the search team also found some ancient ruins. Some words on those ruins have been blurred, and some words were interpreted by Orochimaru and others, but the 3 words Otsutsuki were deciphered. But what exactly Otsutsuki is, no one in the ninja world knows yet. At the same time, the ninjas in the ninja world feel that Otsutsuki is irrelevant. At present, the most important thing is the super ancient, Haweko Mundo. Have you discovered the location of Haweko Mundo so quickly? The look in Namikaze Minato's eyes was complicated. I thought that it took 5 years to discover the entrance of Haweko Mundo. The next 5 years are time for war. 10 years will be used to settle the circle of need and bring true peace to the ninja world. But it's only a week now. Finding the entrance of Haweko Mundo so quickly seems to be good news, but it doesn't work if the time is too fast. Namikaze Minato feels that there seems to be something wrong with it. After all, for the mysterious organization, Haweko Mundo, Espada, Namikaze Minato is now full of anger at the same time. Kakashi is also in the search team. This is the scroll passed back by Kakashi. At this moment, Jiraiya threw a scroll to Namikaze Minato, and he opened it directly. He also nodded. He naturally believed in Kakashi. What the scroll said was that a strange spatial crack was found in an unknown village outside Kurigakure, in which it was extremely dark, and the aura revealed was terrifying. After Kakashi passed the judgment, he felt that this breath was similar to that of Espada. The side that suspects the space crack is Haweko Mundo. It's time to inform the shadows of the ninja world, and naval headquarters to come and talk. Namikaze Minato said solemnly. He realized that the decisive battle was about to begin. At the same time, when the contract was signed, Marine Admiral and Ninja were signed, but this time the situation is a little different. The marshal who wants to come to Marine headquarters should also appear. The country of Iron, Ninja League headquarters. Although it has been established for a short time, this is the most terrifying place in the ninja world. The major ninja villages have sent some strong people here. Even Fujitora of naval headquarters smiled and sat here. Now, in the meeting room, the shadows of the major ninja villages have arrived. Read more at mtlarchive.com. 5 shadows, naturally, will not be absent. In addition to them, there is the Daimyo Dojo, and some small and medium-sized ninja villages. Kusano, Takanen and other master ninjas have also arrived. Right now, they each sat in their respective positions. Sengoku, Marshal of Naval Headquarters, is already here. Called Namikaze Minato to wait and stare at him. The name of the Thunder Country spoke at this moment. Really? Discovering the entrance of Haweko Mundo, is it true? The daimyo of the country of fire also said, we will pay for war funds, but we can't lie to us. The existence of Haweko Mundo. It is also the daimyos, who cannot tolerate lawlessness, and may decide when they will enter the daiming mansion. This kind of existence, in the eyes of the daimyo, is to be eliminated no matter what. Ninja world. There must be order. Ninjas, serve the daimyo, the rich, etc., and comprehend the mission. This is what a powerful existence should do, not recklessly. Yes, the accuracy of the news is very important. Sengoku of Buddha nodded and agreed with this. Sengoku of Buddha could not forget his own experience. Rejoice over the Sky Island. Found empty and rejoice. When I came back, I found out that the naval headquarters was gone. Yes, you must make sure that the opposite of the space crack must be Haweko Mundo, otherwise the loss is not easy to calculate. Fourth Raikage gritted his teeth. Cloud Shinobi Village, because of the threat of Haweko Mundo, the chronospace chakra cannon, which would have taken decades to be researched, was born ahead of schedule. With just one shot, the moon can be lost. Such black technology. Even Cloud Shinobi Village was built after spending a lot of money. At present, it is hard to say whether it can create the second gate. In addition to suicide, there must be luck. If the size of the part is wrong, it will fail if it is 0.000001. Simultaneously, the shells of the chakra cannon, it was a whole village of ninjas entering chakra. With the addition of 8 tails, only one shot can be fired. And so, there is only one shot. If the opposite is not Haweko Mundo. This shot of the chrono chakra cannon was wasted. This is a pity. Onoki also said, the ninja search team that found the entrance is 0213, and the leader is Hitaki Kakashi. He is the son of Konoha Whitefang, let him speak. Kakashi, already present. Kakashi didn't feel nervous at all, and stood up quite calmly. Because of Konoha White Teeth, etc. None of the people present underestimated Kakashi, thinking that as Kakashi's current identity, it might be Konoha Hokage in the future. Of course, the premise is that the ninja world can be victorious and not destroyed by Haweko Mundo. Over there, Fujitora smiled and already knew many famous figures in the ninja world. At this moment, in the ear of Sengoku of Buddha, he introduced Konoha and Kakashi in a low voice. Sengoku nodded from time to time. He was also surprised, a small village. There will be so many intrigues. Yes, this village was discovered by the search team led by me. Like the other teams, my search team has ninjas from other ninja villages to show justice. When we found this hole, we reported it to Lord 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato. Later Lord Orochimaru also came to investigate. Sure enough, the crack in this space was caused by some devastating force inside. Chapter 257. At this time, the original Konoha Hokage Seireitei Hiruzen also stood up. I also personally saw the space crack before. The breath there, I am 90% sure that it is almost the same as Aaronkar's breath. Even Seireitei Hiruzen said the same. The 5 big names and other big figures who were present at the scene all had their faces solemn. From this point of view, this time they really found the intersection of Hueco Mundo. Where the evil existence in Hueco Mundo seems that they also disobeyed each other, so they had a battle, and their battle affected the stability of the space, so there was a crack in the space, but they gave them forbearance. Opportunities like World Alliance and Naval Headquarters. Fourth Reikage is the most excited of all people. His hatred with Hueco Mundo is not at the same level. His father's head was taken down by Ulquiorra. If this kind of hatred does not kill the other person, Fourth Reikage will not give up. Now Fourth Reikage slapped the table fiercely, and then said angrily, if this is the case, what do we still want to do here? We have gathered so many powerful people not just to deal with Hueco Mundo, since there is a way to enter them the lair, then we don't have to wait any longer, just go in one go. 18. Ninjas such as Killer Bee of Cloud Shinobi Village also showed murderous in their eyes. The fighting spirit on his body was also surging. To be honest, not all ninjas in Cloud Shinobi Village are so muscular and simple-minded as Fourth Reikage. But they have considered it carefully, and now they have absolute strength to deal with Hueco Mundo. Today's ninja world has been allied together. This is no longer the power of a village, but the power of a whole world. It is also worth mentioning that their chrono-space chakra cannon. It was also because the maker heard of Hueco Mundo, and the messy relationship was unwittingly created. Coupled with the power of Naval Headquarters. Seireitei Hiruzen also told Fourth Reikage in private that Naval Headquarters is absolutely powerful, and he has waged war with Soul Society. Adding these factors directly, no matter how you look at them, they feel that they still have some success rates. The grandmother of the 1,000 generations who is currently serving as Fengying also spoke directly. The old man feels that there is no need to wait for anything, just go in. The ninjas of Sunagakure nod one after another. The hatred between San Shinobi Village and Hueco Mundo is no less than Cloud Shinobi Village. Because one tail was taken away by Ulquiorra. Rosa also died in Ulquiorra's hands. The village was destroyed because of Hueco Mundo. They are not like Konoha. There is a lot of gold and silver in the vault. San Shinobi Village is still under reconstruction and has not been completely restored. At the same time, because of this incident, many people in the shinobi world feel that the weakest of the 5 shinobi villages is San Shinobi Village. Ever since, no one came to San Shinobi Village to post tasks anymore. In this case, what should the ninjas of San Shinobi Village eat? I think it's better to think about it. Fourth Hokage Namikaze Minato said. He is still young, but he doesn't have the same passion as a young man. He thinks it is better to be steady and steady. Onoki also nodded. As the oldest of the 5 shadows, he was suppressed by Uchiha Madara when he was young. He is old and he has also seen Hueco Mundo, the power of Soul Society. He felt that the Ninja Alliance could not act rashly for the time being. At the moment, opinions differ. They looked at Yakura. Yakura said, I don't have the slightest idea. Read more at mtlarchive.com. The 5 daimyo glanced at each other. The daimyo of Thunder Country is warlike, and he also thinks it is better to score. The other big names couldn't make up their minds for a while. They are not Mingjun, and they don't have their own unique ideas. Now, thinking of something, the daimyo of the country of fire looked at Sengoku, the marshal of naval headquarters. So what do you think of Marshal Sengoku? At this moment, many people's eyes are fixed on this Marshal Sengoku. This Marshal Sengoku once had a war with Soul Society. Didn't die. It's definitely not easy. The Buddha Sengoku also knew the importance of his choice this time, and he pondered. To be honest, other people can wait, but he can't wait. Naval headquarters has never had the slightest performance. He knew that the Spirit King was watching here. He didn't tell the Ninja Alliance Spirit King's existence because he didn't want the ninja world to compete with naval headquarters in front of the Spirit King. At this moment, the Buddha Sengoku's gaze was like electricity, and he said in a loud voice, in my opinion, it's dying, and it's exhausting. What we have to do now is to attack. He knew his decision was very risky. What if he couldn't beat Hueco Mundo? But Sengoku of Buddha discovered one thing, that is the confidence in Fourth Reikage's tone, the confidence in Seireitei Hiruzen's eyes. They seem to have any certainty that they will win. It seems that there is a whole card. Therefore, Sengoku of Buddha thinks it should be attacked. Seireitei Hiruzen and Fourth Reikage, Onoki and others looked at each other. Sure enough, Naval Headquarters was confident enough to beat Hueco Mundo with a whole card. Seireitei Hiruzen smiled at the corner of his mouth. Everything is as he thought. Naval Headquarters has whole cards, but they never use them. Maybe once they cast their whole cards, Garp will have the power to kill the blade, but he will also die. Now, forcing the Buddha's Sengoku to make a decision, he is finally about to make a move. Since Marshal Sengoku agrees, the 5 big names now looked at each other, and looked at Namikaze Minato and others one by one. I agree. Seeing Sengoku of Buddha, Namikaze Minato agreed. When entering the hall just now, he had a few words with the Buddha Sengoku. This is a very stable martial marine. Since he made such a choice, he must have relied on it. The old man agrees too. At this moment, Onoki also nodded. Then I agree. Yakura agreed and nodded. Fourth Reikage smiled. The end of Hueco Mundo is finally here. He has been waiting for this day. He has taken away his father's head, so he has to pay a price. Okay, then tomorrow, it will meet before the space cracks. 5 great names, a final word. This battle, it will be a fierce battle. But whether it's marines such as Sengoku of the Buddha, or ninjas such as Namikaze Minato, they are all ready to sacrifice. But they also saw the hope of victory. That's all. One day passed. The Ninja League is densely packed. Naval headquarters also gathered all the staff, entered the gate, and came to the ninja world. War is on the verge of breaking out. Chapter 258. This time the operation, Sengoku of Buddha, also brought live phone worms. The purpose is to frighten the pirates on the sea, and the Revolutionary Army, let them know how powerful Marine is today. Marine is invincible after cooperating with Ninja World. I hope this action will let them understand. Hueco Mundo was hit hard by them, let alone your pirates and the Revolutionary Army. At this moment, the people of Pirate World are watching this live broadcast. Dorag waits solemnly, and Sengoku, the hidden Buddha, is really sure to deal with Hueco Mundo. At the same time, Soul Society's Shinigami are also watching this live broadcast. Yamamoto Genryūsai was silent, and the other captains also watched the live broadcast very calmly. Yamamoto Genryūsai really wants to know what exactly Aizen is doing. How could there be any space cracks in Hueco Mundo? This is simply impossible. Yamamoto Genryūsai knew that what he had to do now was to figure out what Aizen wanted to do, and then let Aizen understand the power of Soul Society at a critical time. Now the present naval headquarters and the ninja begin to join forces to attack Hueco Mundo together. Yamamoto Genryūsai did not oppose or stop it in the slightest. He also hopes that these people can enter Hueco Mundo and figure out what kind of existence Hueco Mundo is, what are the traps, and what is the ability of Aaronkar. So the Ninja Alliance and Marines didn't even know that they had become the stepping stone of Yamamoto Genryūsai. Yamamoto Genryūsai is not angry and prestigious, he may not have only power, he also has some wisdom. Well, what are you waiting for? Let's go in together. Before coming to the space crack, Fourth Raikage found that one after another ninjas were standing there quietly, but no one took the lead and rushed in first. With a direct roar, the ninjas of Cloud Shinobi Village first surged chakra on their bodies, and then rushed towards the cracks in the space one by one. There was no screaming sound, so Sengoku of Buddha has also ordered Marine to prepare to enter the space crack. The other ninjas of Ninja Village also started to act one by one. Finally, they entered the Hueco Mundo, one by one. This is the outer circle, and this is the Manos Grande forest. There was something like white sand, it was dark at the moment, and there was a quiet area around it. There seemed to be no other colors except black and white. The plants here are also white. No, it's too early to say about plants, because there are only white trees that seem to have dried up, and other plants don't seem to be. As far as they can see, even the people of the Hyuga clan and the Uchiha clan, they see the endless white desert. This place makes people feel lonely and lonely. Looking at the single color of the world, Namikaze Minato couldn't help but speak slowly. So this is a rather boring world. The fun here is killing each other. Orochimaru licked his tongue and said. At the same time, have you noticed that there is a strange power flowing in the space, and its quality is above the ninja world? Therefore, Aaronkar is stronger than us, and it is not without reason. Anamu said. If Espada can be eliminated, let Hueco Mundo become the training ground of the ninja world. Onogi feels that every ninja who cultivates in this place will definitely make great progress. Even Onoki felt that he might live longer in this place. I will leave the Flying Thunder God imprint here, and I will use it when there is an accident. Namikaze Minato said. Fourth Raikage glanced at Namikaze Minato. He knew that he, the leader of the ninja allies, seemed to be inferior to Namikaze Minato. Tell him to drink. Don't attack all, leave some ninjas here to wait. Namikaze Minato and others nodded. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Orochimaru took the initiative to apply to stay in the space crack. He also has some research on space. Orochimaru said that he can be optimistic about the space crack here and will not let it close. Space cracks, in case it closes. Thinking of this, Namikaze Minato and others think it is a terrible thing. In any case, they don't want to stay here for too long. With Orochimaru guarding here, they all felt relieved, so they agreed directly. Then, the other ninjas marched forward. In a strange place like Hueco Mundo, Manos Grande Forest, they moved forward with great care. The ninjas of the Hyuga clan played a role at this time. But it seems that there will be nothing other than the white sand. I don't know how long I've been away. Ninja Alliance, Marine Headquarters also took a few breaks in the middle. At last, they seemed to be going out of the Manos Grande Forest. But at this time, boom, Shu, has already been waiting here. At this moment, the Shu in all directions is coming here. Namikaze Minato, Sengoku of Buddha and others were shocked. It's not these ordinary emptiness that are shocked, but Jillian after the emptiness. Like a black pillar, too high and too long, with a face covered with bones, too scary. It's this Jillian who was shocked, not just one end. It was Jillian one after another. They are all too tall. They have bodies like huge black towers. They smelled of blood, and the terrible Reiatsu. Soul Society. Byakuya Kuchiki waited and watched this live broadcast. They looked at Yamamoto Genryūsai, but the captain was calm and did not speak. Byakuya Kuchiki waited and said nothing, and continued to choose to watch one by one. And the pirate world is boiling. Quote. It's scary. Quote. This is a specific live phone worm, you can see such a monster. How can Hueco Mundo look like this? Quote. Quote. The people on the sea were extremely shocked. Dorage of the Revolutionary Army also watched the live broadcast with confidence. Now his son Luffy has formed an alliance with Kid and others to fight against the ant. But his father, Garp, also entered Hueco Mundo. In fact, Dorag and his father seldom met and said few things. But Dorag was still worried about his father. A lot of monsters. Aizen is to let the people of the ninja world, the people of the pirates, see the existence of the virtual at this moment. At this moment, Jillian, and the other imaginaries, went from all directions, seeming to encircle the ninja allied forces, and the naval headquarters changed. In front of such a monster, whether it is the ninja allied forces or the soldiers of naval headquarters, there is a trace of coldness in their hearts, they only feel that their scalp is numb. They don't doubt Jillian's power. Because when facing Jillian, they felt that facing their own shadows. How do you fight this? Happy New Year everyone. Chapter 259. However, next, Jillian, who was extremely tall and exuded a terrifying aura, shot a red light toward the front. Call out. This red light is nothing else, it is Jillian's Seireitei. It seems to be filled with endless reiatsu, carrying a coercion that is like destroying the world, and it is constantly whistling and shrouding in the direction of naval headquarters and the ninja alliance formed by Sengoku and fourth Raikage of Buddha. Away. The black body is long, and the black part is the clothes similar to the cloak of a witch. A bit like a clown-like long nose and white mask Jillian, the Seireitei radiated out made the naval headquarters and the ninja alliance composed of Sengoku, fourth Raikage, the Buddha, and everyone in the ninja world alliance amazed. The size of that body, even if it is larger than the tail beast, is not known how many times. Just to Jillian, there is such a coercion. Live through the phone worm. The pirates of the pirates saw this scene clearly. This light is too scary, right? The power of this light seems to be quite strong, I don't know if they can resist it. Just kidding, look at so many tall things around you, do you think they can win? You have to see clearly, this is just a tall guy, released. If so much is released. The numerous pirates were all chatting. Soul Society on the other side. I didn't expect that there are so many imaginaries in Hueco Mundo. Even Jillian has so many. Many of the captains and players of Gotei 13 side like this in their hearts. However, this is much more than that. With that, Jillian displayed Seireitei. The black and crushed emptiness who had been the first to encircle, also moved at this time. Their running pace gradually began to accelerate, and the emptiness in all directions was flooding the desolate desert to their heart's content, and it seemed extraordinarily abrupt. Boom. Just a group rush, it made the barren land raise waves of smoke. Boom. Followed. The whole earth seemed to vibrate at this time. Boom. In this short breath, all the people in the naval headquarters, and the ninjas of the ninja world, were full of panic in their hearts, and above their expressions, a touch of unspeakable words appeared. Escape. 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 If they don't escape, then there is only a dead end waiting for them. This is what the people from naval headquarters, and the ninjas of the ninja world, think in their hearts. Read more at mtlarchive.com. None of them are greedy for life and fear of death. But, at this moment, the endless emptiness and the tall Jillian gave them a sense of fear, but it made their scalp numb. Needless to say, it's just that the inexhaustible imaginary army is moving in all directions. Whether it is Sengoku, the Buddha of naval headquarters and others, or the five shadows of ninja world, they have already realized the seriousness of the matter. These things are really not fake, but living things that can move in the true sense. What does this represent? Naturally, there is no need to say more. Quick, rewind everyone. The Buddha Sengoku roared immediately. Go back right away. If you don't leave, it will be too late. Third Tsuchikage Onogi also snorted at this time. Immediately afterwards, he directly nodded his hands without stopping, and patted his hands towards the ground. Earth-style Gang Li style technique. Earth-style Gang Li style technique. Earth-style Gang Li style technique. Onoki released chakra directly without any scruples. Then, in front of the people from naval headquarters and the ninjas of the ninja world, several giant rock monsters appeared in front of them. And after seeing Onoki's movements, the rest of the four shadows naturally made a relative response. Rasengan. The Namikaze water gate immediately concentrated chakra on the hand, flowed in irregular directions, and compressed it to form a palm-sized chakra ball, which attacked forward. Water-style Great Water Screen Wall. Kodachi Tachibana Yakura naturally raised his hand to release a large amount of chakra. In front of them, there was a water barrier that was not inferior to Earth-style Tulubi. Ice Age. Aokiji immediately performed this trick. In an instant, I saw that Aokiji's whole body began to be filled with cold air, covering the direction of the empty army. As for the other two shadows, Sengoku and others, they did not choose to do it. Instead, the people and ninjas who led the naval headquarters retreated towards the rear. Because at this moment they are very clear that in the current situation, they must immediately return to the space crack, otherwise, they will only die. Ever since, they just made eye contact. It is to decide who will fight and who will lead the team. In an instant, those who had just poured into the naval headquarters in the outer circle of Hueco Mundo as well as the ninjas of the ninja world, under the leadership of the leader, began to flee in the direction of the space crack in strides. While running away, these powerhouses from naval headquarters and the elite ninjas from various ninja villages in the ninja world almost all turned their heads involuntarily, looking at the countless imaginary army. I saw that after they retreated, but within a few breaths, the red light had already hit the three shadows and the skills released by Aokiji. Boom, boom, boom. Immediately, there was a burst of deafening noises on the scene. Immediately, a series of terrifying air waves swept in all directions. The red Seireitei was finally suppressed, but it didn't disappear with it, it just stopped the pace of progress. After all, just a Reiatsu owned by Jillian is very strong. At the same time, Rasengan, water-style Isodom falls. Ice cubes, storm pheasant mouth, earth-style earth flow explosion technique. At this time, the three shadows and Aokiji, who was the naval headquarters fighting for the retreat for everyone, were at this time, showing their moves one by one. Along with, the four of them performed moves. The breath of devil fruit and the fluctuation of chakra suddenly enveloped. Boom, boom, boom. In an instant, the explosive power caused waves of air and dust around the four of them. But after a while, everyone clearly saw the scene that made them horrified. Chapter 260. I saw that those who had the fastest impact, although they were bombarded by the moves of the four of them, even so, they were still coming in their direction. Moreover, with each advance, everyone can clearly see that the wounds on Zuman's body have begun to be repaired at a speed visible to the naked eye. What's going on? Yeah, it's still, can heal actively. How can I fight this? Quote. The people from the naval headquarters and the elite ninjas in the ninja world who saw this scene were all stunned. On each of the expressions, there was a touch of unbelievable color after another. Stop attacking. Quick. Retreat at full speed. Yes, otherwise, we might not be able to leave here later. Immediately afterwards, the Buddha Sengoku and the two shadows who led the retreat, at this moment, you yelled at me every word. Although they didn't understand why these imaginary army had such a physique, at least at this time they all knew that ordinary attacks would have no effect on these imaginary army. So many monsters without thinking and pain, and the huge body standing on the periphery. This is simply not the world we know. Onoki shook his head and smiled bitterly. But, when he said this, his eyes darkened even more, as if he had thought of something. These imaginary forces reminded him of annihilation. Yes, it is. Oyemu had no doubt that if this endless imaginary army appeared in the ninja realm, then he could easily destroy the entire ninja realm. Directly destroy all civilizations in the ninja world. And, the most important thing is, this endless imaginary army, they have no thoughts, and can be used as a war machine, and whether it is the powerhouse of naval headquarters or the five shadows of ninja, it is probably difficult to resist the attack of the imaginary army. Even if the strength of each of them is enough to directly destroy a void, what can it be? In the face of this kind of imaginary mountains and plains, the number is nothing, let alone them, how can even 1,000 shadow-level powerhouses bring these imaginary forces? But, it was also when the senior leaders of naval headquarters and the five shadows of Shinobu ordered all of them to retreat at full speed. They suddenly saw a scene that made them horrified to death. I saw that the huge 3 or 4-headed Jillians on the periphery began to slowly open their mouths. Then, 3 or 4 red rays of light flashed in their mouths, and then, they slammed toward the upper floors of naval headquarters and the direction of the 5 shadows of Shinobu village was released. The red light illuminates instantly. Call out. Call out. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Shoo. 4 red Seireitei, accompanied by a huge sound that almost broke through the sound barrier, cut through the air. Everyone, get out of the way. Sarutobi Hiruzen roared immediately. But, the 3 red Seireitei, at this time, are already heading towards the naval headquarters team and the ninja team. The previous Seireitei was cancelled out entirely because there was only one Seireitei, and they had prepared it in advance. However, nowadays, they have not given them extra time to react. Of the 3 red Seireitei, one of them is already about to come. And it was at this time. Along with it, a kuwu suddenly flew towards the nearest red Seireitei. The next moment, flying thunder god turn, I saw that Namikaze Minato's figure appeared in front of the red Seireitei. Immediately afterwards, Namikaze Minato's figure flashed, and he disappeared in place with the red Seireitei. Then, following Namikaze Minato's figure, he returned to the place again. The red Seireitei had already been sent to a distance by Namikaze Minato using flying thunder god technique. Boom, boom, boom. The red Seireitei attacked the ground heavily, and there was a deafening noise, even the ground shook violently at this time. In the distance, a brilliant red light lit up at this moment. But, to know, this only solved a Jillian Seireitei. There are 2 more. Although, they are still far away. But, at this time, there were 3 Jillians, and Seireitei was released. Call out. Find flowers. Call out. Shoo. Immediately, the sound of breaking through the sky began to sound. A total of 5 red Seireitei are attacking them at an incredible speed. At this time, whether it was the people of naval headquarters such as Sengoku and Aokiji of Buddha, or the ninjas of Sarutobi Hiruzen and Onoki Ninja, their expressions were all terrifying. Among them, Namikaze Minato, his expression is extremely solemn. You know, he just used Flying Thunder God to take away the fastest red Seireitei, but now, there are a total of 8. He also understands Namikaze Minato. Those Jillians, who are huge and wear clown masks, are not comparable to the imaginary army that is constantly rushing towards them from all directions. Dot 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 dot. It's not just Namikaze Minato who sees this. As long as the people in the naval headquarters and the ninjas of the ninja world who have not been dizzy with fear, they all know this very well. At this moment, something that Namikaze Minato didn't expect happened. At this time, Namikaze Minato clearly felt that the kunai that he had carved the imprint of Flying Thunder God had changed, and at this moment, he immediately activated the Flying Thunder God to transmit the kunai to by your side. I saw that at this moment, this kunwu was above, but it was tied to a small scroll. Upon seeing this, Namikaze Minato naturally opened it. When he saw the content in the scroll, his expression was startled and his expression changed drastically. Hokage, what happened? Sengoku of Buddha, Aokiji and other powerful naval headquarters, as well as 4 shadows, while performing moves and ninjutsu, blocking the pursuit of Zeus, while leaning towards Namikaze Minato, they asked. It's Orochimaru Sr. who is guarding the space crack. The news from there is that the space crack is suddenly closed. Namikaze Minato frowned, gritted his teeth. Boom. Namikaze Minato's words sounded like a thunder, blasted in the ears of the 4 shadows and senior marine leaders such as Sengoku and Aokiji of Buddha. At this time, their complexions became extremely dignified. They all know that it is impossible for Namikaze Minato to lie on this kind of news, so they are very clear about the truth. Chuan. Chapter 261. At this time, the top of naval headquarters and the 5 shadows of Shinobu village were all stunned. You know, the place where they can retreat now is nothing more than the space crack where they entered, Hueco Mundo. But, at this moment, that space crack was closed. This undoubtedly explains. Their only hope of leaving, Hueco Mundo, has disappeared. In other words, they are now trapped in Hueco Mundo, in a true sense. Mindful of this, Fourth Raikage gritted his teeth and looked angrily at the imaginary army that still maintained an offensive posture in the distance, which was constantly attacking on their side. The reason for the sudden closure of the space crack at this time is that the high levels of the naval headquarters and the 5 shadows of Shinobu who are present, don't even think about it, this must be the hand of the Hueco Mundo, Void King. Trap us all here, and then kill us all like a cat and a mouse. Fourth Raikage said indignantly. Thinking of the space of Hueco Mundo, suddenly opened, and then, now closed suddenly, Raikage clearly knew that this must be the other party trying to bring them all in, and then kill them all one by one. But, even know this, whether it is the high levels of naval headquarters or the 5 shadows of Shinobu village, there is no single solution. They all know that they are now like a lamb in a wolf's den, and the only thing waiting for them is death. Of course, whether it was the shadows of the ninja world, the elite Jonin, or the senior marines such as Sengoku and Aokiji of the Buddha, they were all excellent powerhouses, and they were actually bearish on death, and there was nothing to say fear not fearless. Just the opposite. The current situation of decisive death can arouse their fighting spirit deep in their hearts. They all know that it is not a big deal that they are dead. The key is that the news of the endless and infinite imaginary army must be sent back to tell other people, although there are phone calls now. Worm, the live broadcast is going on, but there is no ninja world. Since the space crack has disappeared and closed, there is only one way for us now, and that is to fight to the end. Raikage said while raising the special lightning-style armor he had on hand. Don't retreat, everyone stays here and fights with them. With that said, Raikage's body suddenly burst into a huge amount of lightning-style chakra breath, which directly activated the lightning-style chakra mode. The kid of Cloud Shinobi Village, the old man underestimated you when I was earlier. I didn't expect that you still have a bit of backbone. At this moment, third Tsuchikage Onoki turned his eyes to Raikage and smiled. The voice fell. I saw it. Onoki sprinted forward a few steps. If you want to use this method to defeat the old man, I would underestimate the old man, right? Iwagakers will, not just by relying on these things can be easily broken. Talk about it. Around Onoki's body, there is also a large amount of chakra rising up. At this moment, he is also extremely fighting spirit. Boys Marine, now, we only have to fight. Sengoku of Buddha also yelled. The so-called shadows originally meant to have the consciousness of sacrificing for the whole village. Immediately afterwards, the rest of the 3 figures, including Namikaze Minato, all performed combat actions. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Marine, never give up. Aokiji said surgingly. Following the statements of the top leaders of naval headquarters and the 5 shadows of Ninja Village, the Marines and ninjas in the ninja world who were present were all boiled and passionate. Soon, they also rushed towards the direction of the vast, almost endless imaginary army. Following that, Marine came into contact with the ninjas and the virtuals. The battle at the scene suddenly broke out. Boom. Boom. Boom boom boom. The size of the Zeus is naturally not bluffing. After seeing the Marine and the ninjas rushing towards them, the Zeus who are walking in the forefront all launched an attack. There was a strong impact in an instant, and it attacked the Marine and the ninjas in an instant. Marine and the ninja who were too short to dodge in the future were killed. Water style water severing wave. Shadow clone dash attack. Fire style great fireball technique. Shuriken in all directions. At the same time, there are also many ninjas, with the help of ninjutsu and their own excellent physical skills, they have successfully attacked a few voids. Of course, naval headquarters is not to be outdone here. The rest of Marine lieutenant generals also displayed their own swordsmanship or devil fruit abilities one by one. Boom, boom, boom. In an instant, inside the battle circle, there was a burst of roar. But, even so, those who were attacked, however, did not seem to feel the slightest pain at all, and they continued to impact in the direction of Marine and the ninjas. Of course, there are exceptions. That is the Buddha Sengoku and Admiral of Naval Headquarters, as well as several shadow-level powerhouses in the ninja world. Bakichang Guyu. Kizaru released this move in an instant, directly attacking a lot of emptiness in a large area. Flying Thunder God Second Stage Rasengan. Namikaze Minato also immediately used Flying Thunder God's second stage, teleported directly to the back of a virtual, and killed the virtual directly. Rock Fist Technique. After Oyeki Jayan, he covered a layer of rock on the outside of his own right hand, and then rushed to the face of a void, directly unfolding a physical attack on the void, and also solved a void. Great Shark Bomb Technique. Fourth Mizukage summoned a huge shark-shaped water bomb that was condensed, and it directly killed the virtual moment in front of him. Hell Brigade. Fujitora strengthened the gravity of the surrounding ground to the limit, suppressed the void in front of him directly, and then killed it. Quote. Of course, the Buddha Sengoku and Aokiji, Marines, Namikaze Minato, Onoki and others, are doing their best to fight the virtual people. And the other side, Chen Tian in the palace of the Spirit King. He watched this scene faintly. Aizen did a good job this time. Ding, congratulations on getting Orochimaru 100,000 shock points. Ding, congratulations on getting 100,000 shock points with Fujitora's smile. Ding, congratulations on getting. At last. Ding, the Invisible Empire branch, officially opened. Chapter 262. Chapter 262 The Will of the Friends of Habak, is being generated. Ding, the Invisible Empire branch officially begins. Close black lens bracket. Ding, the Will of Uhabak is being generated. Chen Tian in the Spirit Palace nodded slightly. Uhabak, is this guy finally showing up? But the formation of Uhabak also requires a lot of shock points. At this moment, Chen Tian looked at Hueco Mundo again. The battle in Hueco Mundo continued. Knowing that the space gap has completely disappeared, the ninjas in the naval headquarters and the ninja allied forces are now looking astonished. They also gritted their teeth, knowing that they have no way out, and they burst out with all the chakra and power. At this moment, it is really broken. In the desperate situation, a stronger force was produced. Although their opponents are imaginary and Jillian, who is comparable to a terrifying monster, they have no retreat and still choose to fight them desperately. Enchantment Squad, hurry up. Seireitei Hiruzen also began to command the enchantment unit of the ninja coalition. Onoki already knew what Seireitei Hiruzen was going to do, and he also immediately said, when the enchantment troops start to use the enchantment to trap them in the enchantment, all we have to do is to attack 18 lines outside. This was originally the tactic used to deal with 10 tails during the 4th Ninja War in the original book. Faced with Jillian head-on at the moment, they had to do the same. To deal with a horrible monster like Jillian, you must use wisdom, and there is no certainty of victory in a head-on. At this moment, Garp broke out his own 8 inner gates formation, punched a Jillian down with a fist, but Garp was also very tired. At this moment, the ninjas of the enchantment force began to use the seal, but there are also strong and weak Jillians among the Jillians, and they are still trapped by the enchantment layer after layer, but the other Jillians have terrible powers. Launch Sero directly. Destroyed the nodules. Now the virtual is coming from all directions. Jillian also has many heads, each with a huge body. It seems that it is time to use the chronospace chakra cannon. The voice of 4th Raikage is full of unwillingness. Originally, the chakra cannon was used to deal with Ulquiorra's existence. But Jillian now has to use the chakra cannon. Killer Bee next to him and the other Jinchuriki stepped forward one by one, and they injected their tail beast power into the chakra cannon. Suddenly, terrible power is being generated. One powerful after another, Jillian was temporarily trapped in the enchantment. When these terrible Jillian wanted to tear open the barrier, the chakra cannon finally fired over. Suddenly the chakra cannon broke everything, with unparalleled power, directly bombarding Jillian one after another. The power of the chakra cannon is infinite, terrifying, and crushes everything. The Jillian in front gradually began to dissipate under the influence and power of the chakra cannon, 1 end, 2 ends and 3 ends, but in the end all the power of the chakra cannon was consumed, but a lot of Jillian still survived. The people watching the live broadcast of Pirate World, their faces are pale one by one at the moment. This is Hueco Mundo. It's horrible. I haven't met Espada, Naval Headquarters, and the Ninja Allied Forces. It's no longer possible. Ninja World actually has such a cannonball. I have to say that it is unexpected, but it seems that it is not enough to destroy all Jillian. Except Soul Society, it seems that no one can deal with Jillian. For every Jillian, I suspect that there is Admiral's power. Maybe above Admiral. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Oh my god, why is this, Hueco Mundo, so scary? Quote. Soul Society. Hiraku Shunsui watched the live broadcast, rolled his eyes, and said, old man, is it time to take action? Yamamoto Genryūsai still did not speak. At this moment, he also feels that the mountains and rain are coming and the wind is all over the building. Why did Aizen suddenly become impatient and use the plan? What is the Spirit King doing recently? Now Yamamoto Genryūsai was thinking. The captain did not order. Gotei 13, how dare you be dispatched? Unless it is ordered by a higher Spirit King than Yamamoto Genryūsai. Now, the captain of Gotei 13 can do is to watch the live broadcast. Now, continue to fire the chakra cannon. The fourth Raikage yelled, calling Jinchuriki, continue to replenish the chakra in the chakra cannon. But it takes time. Seireitei Hiruzen looked at Sengoku, the Buddha, and said, Marshal Sengoku, it's time for you to show your real skills. Sengoku, the Buddha, became a golden Buddha at this moment, fighting with a Jillian. For the time being, it seems to be evenly matched. Hearing the voice from Seireitei Hiruzen, the golden Buddha that Sengoku of Buddha turned into frowned. Real ability. This is their real ability. Devil fruit power, conqueror's haki, slash, etc. In terms of naval headquarters, we have tried our best. On the other hand, your ninja coalition, chakra cannon or something, is your trump card. Pay attention to the change in the face of Buddha Sengoku. What Seireitei Hiruzen realized, he was also stupid on the battlefield at this moment. Ding, congratulations on getting 100,000 shock points for Seireitei Hiruzen. Ding, congratulations on getting 100,000 shock points of Sengoku of Buddha. Ding, congratulations on getting. Open black lens bracket, close black lens bracket. In the palace of the Spirit King. In front of Chen Tian, there are black shadows who are gathering, and finally, they have become the shape of a person. This is the shadow of Ukabak, or it can be called Ukabakswell or something. Now, ding, the invisible empire, the unlocking is complete. Close black lens bracket. The Seireitei building, in the shadow, suddenly gave birth to an ice palace. The exterior is a large palace covered by ice, with the same name as the organization. The front door is equipped with two ivory-like cracked arched columns. There is a building with a cross pattern behind the palace, and the bottom of the palace is covered by ice. Large-scale building and clock tower. Ding, Silver Frame City, the main city of the Invisible Empire, has appeared. Close black lens bracket. Ding, the throne of the Invisible Empire has appeared. Ding, the Invisible Imperial Cell has appeared. Close black lens bracket. Ding, the Gate of the Sun, has appeared. The Spirit King. That black shadow, now speaking to Chen Tian, has a complicated tone. What do you want to do now? The corner of Chen Tian's mouth was smiling, even if it was Friend's Habak, he still didn't pay attention to it. I just hope that Friend's Habak can bring more shock to myself. Let me think about it again. The tone of the vicissitudes of life, but also very cold, without a trace of emotion, the black shadow's gaze also looked through the boundary wall, watching the battle in Hawako Mundo. Can it benefit from it? Chapter 263. Chen Tian can see the Friend Habak, don't have a plan. At this moment, the shadowy friend Baha had a hint of coldness in his eyes, and it seemed that he already knew what he was going to do. Chen Tian smiled slightly, but he looked at their own development slowly like the king of Gu raising. Friends Habak, not quite yet. Now I look again, inside, Hawako Mundo. At this moment, Seireitei Hiruzen and others already know that there is no such thing as true power erupting in the Sengoku waiting for the Buddha. The Buddha Sengoku finally knows what Seireitei Hiruzen's previous self-confidence is about. He actually suspects that he has hidden strength. Impossible, if you only have this kind of power, how did you go to war with the terrifying Gotei 13 without all being killed? Now even Namikaze Minato couldn't help but shout out. The reason is quite simple, because Gotei 13 does not kill innocent people at all. They have their own order to maintain. No, maybe they have a higher definition. Now no matter what the Buddha Sengoku said, Seireitei Hiruzen and others can't listen anymore. What should they do if the situation is critical at this moment? At the moment Fourth Raikage, Onogi, and Yakura, etc., are all something wrong. The two people in front were worried that the situation would get worse and worse, and even all the fighting power in the ninja world would be killed here. Yakura's expression was not right because of his eyes. At this moment, Sharingan's Guyu appeared in the eyes. Yes, Yakura is actually under control. At this moment, in a secret underground space in the ninja world. How about Obito, what have you seen? Ju hurriedly asked. At this moment, Obito, his only remaining eye was glowing with a hint of life that he had never seen before. The death of Nohara Lin made Obito want to completely change the world. At this moment, Obito, he has seen the scene in Hawako Mundo, he is shocked even if he has the power of Sharingan and wood style, but facing the existence in Hawako Mundo, even if it is just a Jillian, Obito finds it difficult to deal with. I think the Ninja Alliance army, what else naval headquarters is afraid that the entire army will be wiped out. Now Obito took a deep breath and told Ju what he saw. And after hearing Obito's words, incredible, it's impossible. In Ju's view, how huge the Ninja Allied forces are. Not to mention the Ninja Allied forces, even the combat power of naval headquarters. It is also terrible to say that Garp is so strong that he defeated the Geto statue with a meat fist. Such a powerful existence. Now in Hawako Mundo, it can't succeed. Obito says the whole army is wiped out. Never doubt if I heard it wrong. Hawako Mundo is strong. Isn't it possible that even if my mother went there, she might have gone without returning? This is absolutely incredible. Now, Obito continued to look at Hawako Mundo, through Yakura's eyes, and suddenly noticed something, and couldn't help but let out a, huh. What did you see? Definitely asked again. Among Marine, a person appeared, so amazing. Obito gasped. Hawako Mundo. When everyone feels at risk, read more at mtlarchive.com. At last, a figure has a very good performance. He finally pulled out his knife. This is Zanpakuto. Burn it, Engetsu. Suddenly, Zanpakuto Shikai, condensing a large amount of Reiatsu for a while, released flames on the blade. Jillian, head after head, died by his knife. Flame. It also burned off the marine soldier's clothing he was wrapping. He, Kurosaki Isshin, in order to let the Spirit King see his performance, let his wife and son come to him. Ever since, he disguised as a marine soldier. At this moment, on Zanpakuto, burning waves of raging fire, one Jillian with a knife. What a terrible power. Such a terrifying Jillian, in his hands, is so fragile. Incredible. Now looking at Kurosaki Isshin's performance, among the ninja allied forces, there are also bursts of exclamation. Sarutobi Hiruzen and others looked at the Sengoku of Buddha again. Scared us, you marine really have hidden cards. Sengoku of Buddha. What should I say? He didn't know at all. Seeing Kurosaki Isshin's Black Death Tyrant costume, Sengoku of Buddha breathed a sigh of relief. He remembers this guy, once killed the Kendo 5 elders. Although not the captain of Gotei 13. But in terms of strength, it seems to be above the average captain. The Spirit Palace. Ding, congratulations on getting 100,000 shock points of Sengoku of Buddha. Ding, congratulations on getting 100,000 shock points for Namikaze Minato. Open black lens bracket, close black lens bracket. At the same time, the system continued to resound in Chen Tian's ears. Ding, congratulations on solving the outer member of the Invisible Empire, Arankar Asgilro Ibang. Close black lens bracket. Chen Tian remembers that in Shinigami's Millennium Blood War, this Yibang appeared very early. Arankar, who suddenly appeared at Kurosaki Ichigo's house, worked for the Invisible Empire and first appeared in the comics, was dispatched to fight Ichigo. Of course, this guy appeared very early, and he seemed to die very early. Thinking of this, Chen Hao couldn't help laughing. Then he stretched out his finger, and the ball of light bounced towards Uhabak. After Uhabak took the light group, he disappeared in the Spirit Palace, returned to the Invisible Empire, and explained something. Yibang, heading towards Hawako Mundo. Hawako Mundo. With the appearance of Kurosaki Isshin, the situation was completely reversed. In the Night Palace, Aizen and Ichimaru Jin, Tusen Kanami, Espada are also watching this scene. Interesting. Quote. Aizen nodded slightly. After that, his eyes were flat on the third blade of Tia. You go try it. The third blade of Espada, Tia, symbolizes the ability to waterfall and control water, Jiao Jiao's. She is the only Espada who hasn't made a shot. Aizen wanted to see her fighting style. Yes. At this moment, Tia nodded and left immediately. The third blade in Espada. The other Arankars in Espada. And Espada subordinate Doflamingo, etc., are all curious about what kind of power he has. Hawako Mundo, inner circle. Jillian, not a fool, has wisdom. After realizing the horror of Kurosaki Isshin, he began to retreat. The ninja allied forces, those who are still alive in naval headquarters, cheered. I'm happy now, isn't it too early? Now, Espada the third Tia appeared, with brown and green eyes and a full upper circumference. Her long golden hair was bundled into 3 braids. The number was on the bottom of the right chest, and the empty hole was below the body. The upper body costume and huge mask cover half of the face to the chest. Seem. I also understand the power of Kurosaki Isshin, so. Chapter 264. Conquer him, Empress Emperor. At this moment, Tia shouted. Kurosaki Isshin can kill Jillian casually, this guy is not bad. At this moment, when Tia was directly liberated, he pointed Zanpakuto to the ground, and a huge wave like a pearl clam appeared below, and surrounded Helibel. After the huge wave disappeared, the weapon turned into a shark gill-printed giant sword. Simultaneously, after liberation, Haribel's mask remained only on the neck and chest, her hairstyle turned into short hair and her face was exposed, her cheeks were left with dark blue lightning-like facial lines, the 3 tattoo on her right chest disappeared, and her costume turned into a short skirt. Style swimsuit like Espada. Now Tia's Reiatsu is beginning to shock this space called the Ninja Alliance Army, and the faces of the people at Marine headquarters have changed drastically. Reiatsu rubbed the air, and there was a terrible sound of breaking wind. Then Tia raised the giant sword in her hand and slashed directly. This is Tia's Seiro, a huge fan-shaped Seiro, yellow in color, flying directly out of the past. Facing this Seiro, whether it was the shadow in the ninja allied forces or the Buddha Sengoku in the marine headquarters, their complexions could not help but change drastically. In the face of Tia's Seiro, Kurosaki Isshin couldn't help but snorted. He didn't have the idea of temporarily avoiding the edge. Now Kurosaki Isshin feels that he is strong enough to compete with the third in Espada. Thinking of this, he also directly slashed his own slash. This is Crescent Moon's first charge. Suddenly, Seiro and Crescent Moon rushed into the sky, both carrying an aura that would destroy everything. The next moment there was a bang, a sudden collision, and the aftermath spread violently. At this moment, whether it was a ninja in the ninja world or a person in the naval headquarters, one by one was now fleeing, and the affected existence was directly torn apart. The people in Pirate World watched this live broadcast nervously. They all know that Kurosaki Isshin and Espada are the third blades. They both have a powerful force that shocks the world. The captains in the Soul Society watching this live broadcast also nodded. Because of Kurosaki Isshin's power, they couldn't help but turn. Some captains even felt that since Kurosaki Isshin is in Hueco Mundo, then Aizen's conspiracy may not be 100% complete. But they found that Yamamoto Genryūsai's complexion was very heavy at this moment. The reappearance of the Invisible Empire. Yamamoto Genryūsai didn't know about this, but Yamamoto Genryūsai just felt heavy suddenly. He felt that something terrific event would happen. Now, in Hueco Mundo, the confrontation between Seireitei and Crescent Moon. It turned out that Crescent Moon split the yellow Seireitei, and then went to Tia again. The Crescent Moon is so sharp that it can shred everything. This guy is terrible. Looking at the Crescent Moon of Kurosaki Isshin, whether it is the ninja allied forces present, the people from Marine headquarters, or the naval headquarters, they can't help but marvel at this moment. Such a Crescent Moon, if they stand in front of such a Crescent Moon, are they afraid that they can't die anymore, right? Marshal Sengoku said that this is Shinigami of Soul Society. Sure enough, Shinigami is very strong. The most arrogant and violent fourth Raikage, his complexion couldn't help sinking, he surrendered. The power he was proud of was nothing compared to the Kurosaki Isshin in front of him. Crescent Moon Chong gave him a terrible feeling that he could not be stopped at all and could only be hacked to death. At this moment, Crescent Moon has come to Tia's front. This guy, the strength is placed in Captain Shinigami. I am afraid that it is also the existence of the top. The power of the Crescent Moon made Tia think so. You know, Shinigami has Shikai and Bankai. This guy is just Shikai, so what about Bankai? Now Tia took a sudden step and hacked out again. But it's no longer Seireitei. Read more at mtlarchive.com. It's Broken Waterfall. This is a move that is performed in the state of returning to the blade, with great power. Immediately, from above the sword body of the giant sword, in the veins like shark gills, a huge column of water sprayed out, like a waterfall. Rushed directly to the crescent sky. What a terrible amount of water this is. The water-style ninjas among the ninjas turned pale when they saw the terrible volume of water sweeping through the sky. Aokiji and Marine couldn't help feeling the impact of the water in it. Even with the power of frozen fruit, it's impossible to freeze such impact water. At last, boom. With the impact, the force of the waterfall swelled completely. At the same time, Crescent Moon Tianchong also disappeared immediately. Aizen in the Zai Palace was expressionless. To be honest, he felt that Tia didn't seem to have much potential. Although it is the third of Espada at the moment, Tia's attack made Aizen not see anything outstanding. Now, Kurosaki Isshin has continued to move towards Tia, and the two sides are fighting together again, but Tia has been crushed. Tia retreats steadily. Kurosaki Isshin believed that the Spirit King must be watching here. The Spirit King should have seen his performance, right? Spirit Palace. Chen Tian did see Kurosaki Isshin's performance. Kurosaki Isshin, Tia has indeed created a lot of shock points. Ding, congratulations on getting 100,000 shock points from Dorag. Ding, congratulations on getting 100,000 fright points for 4 Emperor's Ant. Open black lens bracket, close black lens bracket. The sound of the system did not stop. Ding, congratulations on unlocking Kurosaki Ichigo. Chen Tian stretched out his hand. This is Kurosaki Ichigo before the 1,000-year bloody battle. Directly, pop into Hueco Mundo. Hueco Mundo. Tia gritted her teeth, burning ocean currents. Now, from the front of the sword tip, a terrible stream of hot water vapor was produced. Let me come. When Kurosaki Isshin was about to slash again, a voice came. Call Kurosaki Isshin's eyes brightened. My Ichigo-san, you are finally here. Crescent Moon Sky Chong, Kurosaki Ichigo, Shinigami with yellow hair, has arrived. Suddenly slashed the past, splitting the hot water vapor, he came to Tia's face. Tia lost. Her big sword resisted the Crescent Moon, but it had been hit and flew upside down. Ninja Allied Forces, Naval Headquarters are all overjoyed. However, is that the only way? Suddenly, a voice rang behind Kurosaki Ichigo, Kurosaki Isshin. It's Erankar Ebone. His appearance made Aizen frowned. Does this character exist in the Erankar of Hueco Mundo? Ichimaru Jin shook his head now. Seeing this, Aizen nodded slightly. It seems that the real game is about to begin. Are you Erankar too? Kurosaki Isshin turned around. The crescent moon rushed into the sky. Yibang also shot at this moment, with decorations similar to Ishida Yulong's, and then his power turned into a giant bow. Chapter 265. The cross of Ibang, at this time, turned into a giant bow and arrow, and then shot directly at Kurosaki Ichigo. Boom. This is similar to the power of Seireitei. Suddenly broke everything. At the same time, holding the star-like props, he said coldly, face me, or use Bankai, then I can. Kurosaki Isshin slashed up too, Crescent Moon. Even Shikai. Yibang felt that he would be affected by his props. Suddenly, boom. The light was like a curtain, covering Kurosaki Ichigo. However, Kurosaki Ichigo still split everything. Continue to face Yibang. It's impossible, because why doesn't it affect you? Yi Bang was taken aback. Kurosaki Ichigo only thinks that this guy is from Hawako Mundo, right now he just hacked it up. But black shadows appeared. In an instant, I left with Yi Bang. This is different from Hawako Mundo, which disappears too fast to keep up. In the Shuyi Palace, Ulquiorra, who has always been indifferent, has his pupils open at this moment. Other changes in Espada's expression, not to mention anything. Aizen was also thoughtful. Sombra not only took Yi Bang, but also Tia in Espada. But too fast. No one can stop it in time. In the Spirit Palace. Ding, congratulations on getting Ulquiorra 100,000 shock points. Ding, congratulations on getting Grimjow 100,000 shock points. Open black lens bracket, close black lens bracket. Ding, congratulations on unlocking Ludas, the outer powers of the Invisible Empire. Close black lens bracket. Right now, Chen Tian flicked his finger. Direct the light group into the Invisible Empire. Yuhabak, what he would tell Ludas to do, Chen Tian already knew clearly. Now, Yi Bang's performance. The captains named Soul Society couldn't help but glance at each other. Hitsugaya also said, this guy, what is Arankar, or a Quincy? On the contrary, Hiraku Shunsui said with a heavy face, the key is that dark shadow, too fast, no one can stop him if he wants to take away. Hiraku Shunsui's face changed like this because Hiraku Shunsui noticed something. The captain finally opened these eyes now. In his eyes, there are unusual colors that Hiraku Shunsui has never seen before. The captain confessed that after giving Hiraku Shunsui the responsibility for the time being, the captain Yamamoto Motoinagi Sai Shigekuni left the meeting room. Now following Shigekuni Yamamoto Genryūsai, only his deputy captain Sasaki was alone, just like that, walking in the corridor, and then walked into a room. There are some files here, and Yamamoto Genryūsai knew that he had to check something. Read more at mtlarchive.com. In this silent room, when Yamamoto Genryūsai was about to take out a drawer, he brushed it, and suddenly several armed figures appeared behind him. Headed by Ludas, there are several other figures, and now they are standing here. They are very tightly wrapped. The so-called Gotei 13 is nothing more than this, and the security force is too bad. When someone came here, no Shinigami knew about it. Ludas spoke. Perhaps in Ludas's opinion, Yamamoto Genryūsai is too old to move Zanpakuto. In the tone, there is some presumptuous recklessness. But is it really like this? Yamamoto Genryūsai Shigekuni, his face is calm, but his eyes are flat. The old man is the most terrifying guard of Soul Society. Sasaki, the deputy captain of Yamamoto Genryūsai, shouted at this moment. Who are you guys? What do you want to do here? Sasaki now walked up towards Lucas. Yamamoto Genryūsai stopped him, and then said. Come on with your purpose. Following Yamamoto Genryūsai Shigekuni's question, Ludas nodded and said, Your Excellency Yamamoto Genryūsai Shigekuni. Oh, no, I should call you Yamamoto Genryūsai. We are here to issue a declaration of war to you. Hearing these words, Yamamoto Genryūsai Shigekuni found it a bit interesting. He just calmly said, what about the specific content? We will destroy Soul Society. Yamamoto Genryūsai Shigekuni, his face still calm. Stop kidding, who do you think you are? Now Sasaki couldn't help it anymore and rushed straight up. Next moment, before Sasaki pulled out Zanpakuto Shikai. Swish. Ludas and others have already shot. Finally, Sasaki flew out. Yamamoto Genryūsai's eyes were cold. In front of me, someone who hurt me so much. In the next moment, Yamamoto's Reiatsu from Genryūsai Shigekuni turns into a raging fire. What a terrible ability this is. Find flowers. At this moment, Ludas and others felt that death seemed to fall on them. The flame, like a fierce beast, pounces. Rufus and the others disappeared at the utmost point. Sure enough, someone shot. Yamamoto Genryūsai has a calm face. He knows. The big game of Spirit King is about to begin. This game is more dangerous than the previous games. Thought of this, Yamamoto Genryūsai glanced at the injured Sasaki. Now, Shinigami heard the sound and it has arrived. There is no time to waste time with Hawako Mundo. Hawako Mundo. At present, Soul Society's biggest opponent is not Aizen anymore. Hitsugaya Tōshirō and others have also arrived. Go, bring Kurosaki Ishin, Kurosaki Ichigo, and people from this world to Seireitei temporarily. Yamamoto Genryūsai pondered for a moment, this will be a disaster for the present, Soul Society, Hawako Mundo. With Aizen, according to Yamamoto Genryūsai, he doesn't want to do this for the time being. He is also confident in his strength. What we have to do now is to tell people in this world what is happening. I hope they don't hold back. If this world is a group of mortal people without power, then forget it. However, the appearance of the pirate and the appearance of the ninja all possess certain powers. In this way, there will be the power to hold back. Byakuya Kuchiki, Hitsugaya Tōshirō glanced at each other, the captain's eyes just looked at them and said. Right now. They nodded. The Technology Development Bureau has developed a directional black cavity that can lead to Hawako Mundo. This is Hawako Mundo. Kurosaki Ishin, Kurosaki Ichigo is worrying about what happened just now. Ulquiorra, Yami and Genryūsai from a spada appeared. Didn't say much. Go directly to the blade. Then Seireitei was displayed at the same time. Suddenly, Seireitei's power, terrifying, swept the entire battlefield directly. Boom. Rolling away all the way. In front of this huge power, the desert is directly separated like a wave. Even the ninjas and the marines who were backing far away at this moment are also affected. Seireitei has not yet arrived, but the violent wind caused has made them pale, and they don't know what to do for a while. Chew on. Chapter 266. The scene of Hyōrinmaru is buried. But it is precisely because of this that the people at Marine Headquarters and the Ninja Alliance can clearly feel the terrible pressure caused by the Seireitei of Ulquiorra, Yami, and Genryūsai. At this time, the earth is being continuously torn apart. The clouds above the sky were also at this time, because the air current formed by the crescent sky was annihilated, and the endless sand turned into a dust storm and was spreading everywhere. Kurosaki Isshin and Kurosaki Ichigo, both in the direction of these three Seireitei attacks, also moved at this moment. Even the current situation on the battlefield seems extremely chaotic. However, the actions of Kurosaki Isshin and Kurosaki Ichigo, Marine Headquarters and the Ninja Alliance, can all be seen clearly. After all, anyway, the scenes of Kurosaki Ichigo and Kurosaki Isshin fighting Tia when they were just now left a deep impression on them, so since then, their eyes have focused on Kurosaki Ichigo and Kurosaki Isshin's body. Besides, the aura on their father and son is extremely rich, just a little bit of perception can find their place. Crescent Moon Sky Chong. Crescent Moon Sky Chong. Kurosaki Ichigo and Kurosaki Isshin all bombarded in the direction of Seireitei of Ulquiorra, Yami, and Genryūsai. See it. The Buddha Sengoku immediately yelled to the marines behind him, all marines, come forward to help. At the same time, after fighting with Zuhei Jillian, 4th Raikage, Naruto Namikaze Minato, Tsuchikage Onoki and other shadows took a break and immediately shouted at the ninjas behind them that were almost the same as Sengoku of Buddha. All Naruto, come forward to help. All of Cloud Shinobi, come out to help immediately. All Rock Shinobi, come forward to help. Sand Shinobi, all of you, immediately come forward to help. Quote. And then, Sengoku of the Buddha and the 5 shadows issued an order together, and in an instant, all the marines and ninjas present understood the meaning of the 6 of them in an instant. Kurosaki Ichigo and Kurosaki Isshin are fighting Ulquiorra, Yami, and Genryūsai, and the latter 3 are members of Hyōrinmaru. A spada. If they can be defeated, then they are likely to become this one. At the most critical moment of the war, when that time comes, they, marines and ninjas, may still have a glimmer of life. But if Kurosaki Isshin and Kurosaki Ichigo cannot resist Ulquiorra, Yami, and Genryūsai, then it undoubtedly means that their alliance will collapse directly. It is precisely because of this that, with the exception of those who are still fighting with the virtual men, almost all the remaining marines and ninjas used their devil fruit power or the remaining chakra at the same time. Immediately, the next moment, the energy of countless devil fruits suddenly rose, and they bombed out one after another. Countless escape techniques, shurikens, and kunai were also revealed at this moment. Although they also know that their moves, or chakra, cannot have any effect on Ulquiorra, Yami, and Genryūsai, but with so many marines and ninjas, they can still help as much as they can. Boom. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Boom. Boom. In an instant, Seireitei of Ulquiorra, Yami, and Genryūsai collided with Kurosaki Ichigo, Kurosaki Isshin's Crescent Moon, Marine's Devil Fruits moves, and Ninja's chakra skills. There was a burst of noise that shook the sky and the earth. The air seemed to be overwhelmed, with tearing tinnitus sounds. The huge explosion almost lifted up all the dust in the outer ring of Hyōrinmaru. The scene seemed chaotic. Huge waves of air and terrible energy fluctuations, all from the center point, in a flash, filled the sky above the sky. Of course, at this time, there were also a lot of marines and ninjas, and they were killed on the spot because of the roar of this angry wave. How's it going? And seeing this scene of the scene, all the ninjas and marines had only this idea in their hearts. After all, this is an attack by all of them. If it is in their own world, it can completely destroy the existence of a region. But, the next moment, they were all stunned. Because the terrible explosion and heart-palpitating shock wave produced at this time, it was directly torn apart by 3 huge forces. From the smoke and dust, the 3 different colors of Seireitei are like tickets to hell, constantly sweeping towards them. Seeing this, Kurosaki Isshin and Kurosaki Ichigo did not hesitate at all, and immediately performed slashes. In an instant, I saw it. 2 blades condensed by Reiatsu, whizzing out from Kurosaki Isshin and Kurosaki Ichigo's Zanpakuto. Boom. Then, far more terrifying and exaggerated roar than the explosion sounded just now. Then, the shockwave of the shockingly majestic Reiatsu directly enveloped the entire battlefield. The surrounding desert, next door, at this time, because of this terrible shockwave directly flying and breaking apart. At this time, marine and ninjas who are far away from the real battlefield, even if they have used Devil Fruit's abilities and chakra to firmly stick themselves to the ground, but even so, there are still many people who are directly it was blown out. Gulong. Gulong. At this moment, whether it was marine or the ninjas, they all swallowed a few mouthfuls involuntarily. It's so scary. It's terrifying. At this time, they can clearly feel that the ground is constantly shaking, and even the air between the sky and the earth is distorted. Looking at all this in front of me, whether it is marine or the ninjas, they can't even speak. Although, In their own world, they are all strong players, and they are used to seeing devil fruit and chakra, causing great destructive power. But the 5 people in their eyes, the strength they showed was not what they could imagine. Because of the strength of the 5 of them, they are very straightforward, and this straightforward power makes them unable to find the slightest flaw and coping method at all. Then, Ulquiorra, Yami, and Grimmjow shot out Seireitei. The virtual Angelians around them all rushed towards the Ninja League and Marine Headquarters. Seeing Marine Headquarters and the Ninja Alliance are about to collapse, a strange scene happened. Chapter 267. Spread it, Senbon Sakura Kajiyoshi. Sit in the frosty sky, Hyōrinmaru. At the time when the Ninja League and Marine Headquarters defensive goals were about to be breached by Shu Angelians. Accompanied by 2 such sounds. Strong assistance is here. I saw it. Above the sky, there were countless petals, as well as a shocking cold air and current, forming huge ice crystals and red lotus dragons. Directly, those who are about to attack the Ninja League and Marine Headquarters will be attacked by Jillian, either directly flying or obliterating it on the spot. Immediately afterwards, 2 figures appeared in the sky. One of the heads and necks wears the hair accessory, star pliers, that nobles are entitled to wear, and a neck scarf named, silver white windflower gauze, wearing white feather weave and white finger guard hand. The other one was a young man with silver hair, who was not tall, and also dressed in pure white feathers, standing in the air with a large sword in his hand. Subsequently, these 2 18 figures all rushed directly into Shu and Jillian. Around the body, Reiatsu was constantly released, taking away one head with a single knife. Boom, 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 boom. Until the Ninja Alliance and the people around the Marine Headquarters, Shu and Jillian either retreated or died. Whether it is the people at Marine Headquarters or the ninjas, they all wake up like a dream. Especially everyone in the Ninja League. All of them were a little confused. But, next moment, Sengoku and Aokiji, Fujitora of the Naval Headquarters, Namikaze Minato and Onoki among the ninjas, have already noticed the clothes on these 2 people. On the back of the pure white Haori wearing many ornaments, there is the word A6, engraved. And the young man with short silver hair and stature has the word Zidon, printed on the back of its Yori. And whether it's Haori 6, 10 or the symbolic numbers, in Naval Headquarters, as well as the current ninja world, they are no longer unfamiliar. It is precisely because of this that, at this moment, everyone present, whether it is Marine or Ninja, naturally understands what identities are these 2 people who suddenly appeared. Why are they here too? The Buddha Sengoku, Aokiji, Fujitora and others looked at Byakuya Kuchiki and Hitsugaya Tōshirō who appeared abruptly with a puzzled face. To know, read more at mtlarchive.com. Before, people from Pirate World had met these 2 people. The grievances between One Piece World and Gotei 13, the Buddha Sengoku at this moment thinks of it, and feels embarrassed to death. At the beginning, the Buddha Sengoku thought that Gotei 13 was an ancient force, and the idea was exactly the same as the current ninja world. But after really knowing what Gotei 13 is, all they have is shock. At that time, the 2 men had fought against Aizen. Although they lost in the end, the Buddha Sengoku, Aokiji and others, they all know that the relationship between Hueco Mundo and Gotei 13 is almost equivalent to the relationship between their marine and the pirate. They naturally know that Gotei 13 is not an evil force, as rumored in the ninja world. They just want to protect the peace and order of their world. The other side, Gotei 13, the captain of the 6th and 10th teams. While understanding these 2 identities, even the other shadows don't know what they should say at this time. Because, at this moment, they simply can't understand what the situation is now. But, what about now? These 2 people actually showed up and rescued them. In an instant, it is that everyone in the Ninja Alliance is a little puzzled. This weird thing made everyone feel a little overwhelmed in their hearts. And if you insist on saying that there are any exceptions, then there are only a few high levels in Konoha village. Among them, especially Namikaze Minato. At this time, Namikaze Minato, his eyes were constantly shining brightly. He was the first person to have played against the Hueco Mundo, and also the first official contact with Gotei 13 Jashiro Yukitake. Since then, Konoha village got a lot of key information from Jashiro Yukitake. And the most critical piece of information is naturally the relationship between Seireitei and Hueco Mundo. Fundamentally speaking, these 2 are enemies in hostility, almost absolute. The imaginary race that devours souls has always been Shinigami's opponent. Shinigami has always had the upper hand. And from that time on, Namikaze Minato and Sarutobi Hiruzen and other Konoha village executives have the same conjecture, that is, Gotei 13 and even Seireitei as a whole. This existence itself may not be the evil force they originally thought. He knew that now, only Byakuya Kuchiki and Hitsugaya Tōshirō can take themselves and the others away. If so, if the delay continues, if the other, Hueco Mundo, Espada comes out, then the situation will be terrible. All the senior officials in Konoha village believed that whether it was Gotei 13 or the entire Seireitei, they probably didn't care about the entire ninja world at all, and there was no malice. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at Hot MTL novel for free. Immediately afterwards, Sengoku, the Buddha, immediately stood up. Don't talk about it yet. They are fighting Hueco Mundo, anyway, and they can be considered as involving a lot of the power of Hueco Mundo, for us. It's the opposite. I can promise. This ancient existence may not be an evil force. They are not evil forces. They have recently been in this period of time. Byakuya Kuchiki and Hitsugaya Toshirō came to the front of the Buddha Sengoku 800 and Namikaze Minato. The basic reason for the sudden appearance in the ninja world was not out of malice, but because Hawako Mundo appeared in the ninja world, so they had to come and check. Namikaze Minato only thought of it so far. Then, he said solemnly, "Well, what matters most to us now is to get out of here as quickly as possible. You go with us first, otherwise, you will be consumed here." Hitsugaya Toshirō on the side was persuading him at this time. "You are all evil forces, the same as Hawako Mundo. Why are we walking with you? Isn't this out of the tiger's den and into the wolf's den again?" At this moment, Reikage sneered at the side. Dao. After speaking, he turned his eyes to look at Kurosaki Ichigo and Kurosaki Isshin for a while. "Marine of Pirate World, ninja of ninja, you dare to step into Hawako Mundo. Are you looking for death?" At this moment, Byakuya Kuchiki frowned, and his cold voice spread to Marine and the ninjas. In the ears. Chapter 268. With that, the voice of Sengoku of Buddha fell. Naval headquarters saw Byakuya Kuchiki and Hitsugaya Toshirō, and those who fought with Aizen stood up and said that they could prove that Gotei 13 was not an evil force. Soon, they greeted Marine and quickly followed Byakuya Kuchiki and Hitsugaya Toshirō to evacuate here. As for Kurosaki Ichigo and Kurosaki Isshin, the father and son didn't say anything, they just followed Marine. "Everyone, hurry up with them." Namikaze Minato didn't hesitate, and immediately shouted to everyone. Watching Marine and Konoha village, as well as the departure of Kurosaki Ichigo and Kurosaki Isshin. "All rock shinobi, keep up. Mist shinobu, everyone, do it. All sand shinobi, leave first." At the same time, the three shadows immediately made the same decision. Only Reikage, who did not trust Byakuya Kuchiki and Hitsugaya Toshirō just now, looked struggling. But, soon, he gave the same order, "All cloud shinobi, keep up with them." At this time, whether it was the Shudaijin, Jillian, or Ulquiorra, Yami, and Grimmjow, all attacked the people who wanted to escape from Hawako Mundo. But, in an instant, they were the people in front of them, and they all disappeared. As for the Ninja Alliance, Naval Headquarters, Kurosaki Ichigo, Kurosaki Isshin and others, they appeared in Soul Society. "We just left Hawako Mundo." This peculiar idea flashed through the minds of everyone in the Ninja Alliance and Naval Headquarters. To know, a second ago, they were still in the Hawako Mundo, facing the imaginary army that filled the mountains like a tide, as well as Jillian, Ulquiorra, Yami, and Grimmjow's attacks. Feel the despair before death is coming. However, just for a moment, they found that they had successfully escaped from that place like hell. All of this made them feel like they had dreamed. If not, the Marines have a lot of wounds, and the ninjas have almost exhausted their chakras. Almost all of them would wonder if they had a dream. And this one, especially Namikaze Minato, has the most complicated feeling. This fourth Hokage has a very strong sense of sight at this moment. After all, when he was in the ninja world before, he had seen this skill, the sudden appearance of Jashiro Yukitake. At this time, all the people in Naval Headquarters sat on the ground to rest. Read more at mtlarchive.com. As for the ninjas in the ninja world, all of them were a little tired and began to recover chakra. Of course, there are some exceptions. For example, Jiraiya, the teacher of Namikaze Minato. Konoha village Jiraiya, thank you too for helping each other. Although, Jiraiya, Konoha Sanin, looked a little lazy and unreliable. However, you must know that Jiraiya's heart is always tied to the entire ninja world. It is precisely because of this that at this time, he will be the first to come to Byakuya Kuchiki and Hitsugaya Toshirō to thank you. The two should be the captains of Seireitei Gotei 13, right? Jiraiya looked at Byakuya Kuchiki and Hitsugaya Toshirō, smiling. Captain of the 6th Division, Byakuya Kuchiki. Byakuya Kuchiki replied lightly. Captain of the Jufin, Hitsugaya Toshirō. But Hitsugaya Toshiro's tone was a little gentle. You guys from Gotei 13, save us as long as you save us. Why don't you send us back to the ninja world? Bring us here. This is Seireitei, right? As the words of Byakuya Kuchiki and Hitsugaya Toshirō fell, Reikage, who had already had doubts in his heart, immediately shouted. Don't get me wrong. At this time, Hitsugaya Toshirō glanced at Reikage and said, it means the captain to save you, and it means the captain to bring you to Seireitei. That is, if the captain speaks, how could I go to Hawako Mundo to save you? And Byakuya Kuchiki said indifferently. Just heard what Hitsugaya Toshirō said. At the top of Naval Headquarters, their eyes light up slightly. Sengoku, Aokiji and others of the Buddha naturally know who the captain in their mouth is, Yamamoto Genryūsai, who took the lead in their world to enter the Holy Land Mary Geoise. Just, the Buddha Sengoku and others didn't know what Yamamoto Genryūsai came to do with them. As for Namikaze Minato and Onoki, the people in the ninja world were stunned after hearing what Hitsugaya Toshirō said. Who is the captain? Why did he ask you to bring us here? Just thought of this. Words of Byakuya Kuchiki. Whether it was the people from Naval Headquarters or the ninja world, they were all taken aback, their expressions a little stiff. Does this person know how to speak? If you can't speak, speak less. However, the key point is that at this moment, they cannot use any language to refute anything. After all, Byakuya Kuchiki is right. He has no obligation to save them. Moreover, After all, they saved the lives of themselves and others a few seconds ago. Even Reikage closed his mouth at this moment and stopped speaking. So, there are too many questions for Namikaze Minato. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at Hot MTL novel for free. The current situation in the ninja world is too dangerous. For another example, will the countless emptiness suddenly appear in the ninja world one day? Money Zhao, Namikaze Minato's question can cover a wide range, but this is the only question that Namikaze Minato can ask now. For example, the sudden appearance of dark shadows. For example, what is visored? For example, why does the spatial crack of Hueco Mundo suddenly appear in the ninja world? At this time, Namikaze Minato, who was the first to know Gotei 13, said again. Our action this time was indeed inappropriate. Quote. This battle has thoroughly proved the strength of Hueco Mundo. As for Kurosaki Ichigo and Kurosaki Isshin, the expressions of the father and son did not change. Kurosaki Isshin is closing his eyes and resting, while Kurosaki Ichigo is looking around, observing the surroundings. If there is no real foreign aid, the ninja world can't fight Hueco Mundo at all. For example, what is the current situation of Hueco Mundo? For example, the birth of the imaginary. Because if you want to divide it into more detailed questions, you can ask. Having said that, after a turn of the conversation, Namikaze Minato asked the doubts in his heart straightforwardly. However, we still hope that the two captains can tell us what is going on now. These problems combined make Namikaze Minato a headache. Chapter 269. Byakuya Kuchiki's face was very plain, and he didn't seem to mean to answer Namikaze Minato. Hitsugaya Tōshirō exuded a pretentious taste, and nodded. There are things that I can tell you, some are not possible, and some don't even know us. Who saved Yibang? Who was behind this errand car? Who broke into Seireitei again and left the battle book? Hitsugaya Tōshirō is still unclear. But Hitsugaya Tōshirō also realized one thing, and that was a big deal. Now I will tell you something, you can know. Hitsugaya Tōshirō called Namikaze Minato and the other ninjas nodded. They all knew that they had to listen carefully. Now they attacked Hueco Mundo, but they didn't even get into the real inner circle. They didn't even see the shadow of the Palace of the Night, they were already defeated. Without Kurosaki Isshin and Kurosaki Ichigo, this time the coalition forces would be completely extinct. In fact, we are not the existence of an ancient power for you, but it should be said that the existence of another world, soul society, can be understood as the world that people enter after death, after soul burial, and after being selected. The people at naval headquarters knew this for a long time, but the ninjas didn't know it yet. Now they were taken aback and their eyes widened. What's the joke? If you put it this way, the levels of the world are completely different, too much difference. The reason Marine didn't say it was because of fear of the power of Gotei 13. Before Gotei 13 allowed it, naval headquarters didn't know if they should tell these ninjas who thought they had guessed the answer. Next is the news that you want to know about, Hueco Mundo. The essence of the imaginary is actually the product of the evil soul being twisted. According to the strength, it can be divided into ordinary imaginary and Manos Grande. Facing the ordinary imaginary, there is still a way to work hard, but if you face Manos Grande, you are in danger. Manos Grande is divided into 3 levels, Jillian, Ejukas and Vasto Lord. Of course, after being selected in Manos Grande, some will become Arankar. The strongest of Arankar is Espada. Espada is as powerful as their ranking, but Ulquiorra is an exception. Of course, Hitsugaya Tōshirō has not forgotten that Ulquiorra has received the gift of the Spirit King and possesses another stage of strength to return to the blade. Hitsugaya Tōshirō wanted to come here to be the so-called second stage of gilding, but he didn't know that Ulquiorra had already had the second stage of gilding, and now the third stage of gilding was bestowed by King Ningling. Following Hitsugaya Tōshirō's words, ninjas including Minato and others have gradually understood what kind of existence Hueco Mundo is. It is not an ancient power at all, it is far more terrifying than the so-called ancient power, and it can be regarded as another world. Now Seireitei Hiruzen and Onoki are frowning. I only feel that my life seems a bit sad, and I encountered such a thing when I was old. If the opponent exists in this way, how to fight, there is no hope of victory at all. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Then what are you not sure about? It has something to do with Seireitei saving us this time. Namikaze Minato asked what he thought of. Hitsugaya Tōshirō took a high look at Namikaze Minato. This guy is agile, but unfortunately, it's not Shinigami. Hitsugaya Tōshirō said. It's the black shadow that suddenly appeared. It took Tia from Espada and another Arankar, who was not like Hueco Mundo, Arankar. You know, someone invaded Soul Society just now. Directly in front of Captain Yamamoto Genryūsai, a declaration of war was issued. What? Sengoku of Buddha and Marine's eyes widened. The captain, how powerful, naturally needless to say. Sengoku of Buddha and others have seen it, just Shikai, and then wiped out Yim, if the captain is Bankai. But, who is it that has the courage to slap a letter of war against him in Soul Society? This is simply incredible. The Buddha Sengoku waited for air conditioning. Marine allied forces, they were also stunned. Seireitei Hiruzen thought for a while and said, is it Aizen from the so-called Hueco Mundo? No, this time it was Byakuya Kuchiki. In that way, the opponent took away people in front of the captain. This is not Aizen's ability. And Byakuya Kuchiki's words silenced the atmosphere. Whether it's a ninja from the ninja world or marine, they have only one idea now, that is, the water of the world is too deep, right? Among Hitsugaya Toshiro's words, the amount of information is shocking. People with heads such as Sengoku, Sarutobi Hiruzen, and Onoki can hear some information. First, Seireitei's power is above Haweko Mundo. This can be seen from the performance just now. Shinigami entered Haweko Mundo, and seemed to have no worries, but what about Espada, have you been to Seireitei? Second, there is another mysterious force. This force should be on top of Haweko Mundo. The Arankar who used the bow and arrow just now belongs to that mysterious force. In addition, the mysterious forces don't seem to put Aizen in their eyes. In the Haweko Mundo, they took away the third blade of Tia directly. Thirdly, the mysterious force might be superior to Seireitei, and it was actually not dead in front of Yamamoto Genryūsai. Now you can't let the mysterious forces fish in troubled waters anymore, so the captain thinks that your affairs with Haweko Mundo must be stopped temporarily, otherwise, no one knows if the snipe and clam will fight, when the mysterious force fishermen profit. At the same time, I want to tell you the existence of mysterious forces, lest you be used. Hitsugaya Toshirō said here, the general context of the matter, Sengoku, Sarutobi Hiruzen, etc., feel that they have already figured it out. But things have become more difficult. I thought the biggest enemy was Haweko Mundo, but now there is something more terrifying than Haweko Mundo. Now Garp also scratched his head and asked, as for Soul Society, don't you know anything about the mysterious forces? This one, Hitsugaya Toshirō thought of the strange look of Captain Yamamoto Genryūsai at the time, and he didn't know what to say for a while. Byakuya Kuchiki did not speak either. He felt that the captain must know something. But the captain was not sure, so he called Kuretsuchi Mayuri to find out. Then what about him? Buddha Sengoku and others knew the existence of the Spirit King, but didn't dare to mention it, but asked cautiously. That person naturally knows everything, omniscience and omnipotence, but he treats everything as a game and won't interfere. Hitsugaya Toshirō solemnly said, Hey, what are you playing dumb riddles, who is he? Fourth Raikage saw that there was something there, and they didn't tell the ninja world. Chapter 270. To tell the truth about the existence of the aloof Spirit King, Hitsugaya Toshirō doesn't know if he can say it now. At this moment, Hitsugaya Toshirō can only look at Fourth Raikage and say, I said, there are some things we can't tell you. You guy. When Fourth Raikage heard these words, his anger rose, as if he wanted to hit someone. Master Raikage, can't be the same. Master Raikage, please stop. Be careful, Lord Raikage. Quote. At this moment, the ninja of Cloud Shinobi Village hurried to stop his Fourth Raikage. Not everyone can fight casually, they are not opponents at all. You are only beaten to death if you go on like this. If it doesn't, the entire Cloud Shinobi Village will be implicated. Master Raikage, you'd better pay attention to your measures. Master Raikage, don't hurt others. Now the other ninja village's shadows also said one by one. They can't even fight Haweko Mundo, not to mention that there is now a mysterious force who dares to fight against Soul Society. It seems that if I want to survive, I am afraid that I have to cooperate with Soul Society. Oh, no, where are they qualified to cooperate with Soul Society? I can only say that I must follow the instructions of Soul Society well. Well, it's not the time to talk so much nonsense. Now Hitsugaya Toshirō shook his head, just looking at Marines Marshal Buddha Sengoku and the shadows of the major ninja villages. Our mission is to take you out of Haweko Mundo. At the same time, the captain wants to meet some of the guys who are taking the lead here. The captain has something to tell you. When he heard these words, Sengoku of Buddha was shocked. He couldn't help but said, people who die after death will be buried in Rukongai. This is the message you used to say. What does it mean now? Want to bury us? Hearing these words, Namikaze Minato's bodies trembled. All of them are powerful in the ninja world, but if compared with Soul Society, they are completely inferior. Kurosaki Isshin said, you people are too bad at Soul Society, I think the captain asks you to go, then there must be a way to let you go. Heard that, Sengoku of Buddha waited a little, nodded, yeah, how can I guess indiscriminately? This is for you. Now, Hitsugaya Toshirō took out some props such as amulets and gave them to Sengoku of the Buddha. There is no way of forcing you. When you want to go, you can use your life energy. Of course, chakra can also be used. Other devil fruit powers can be used. As long as this special spirit is introduced, there will be Shinigami came to Kyuin for them. Hitsugaya Toshirō said. Byakuya Kuchiki also nodded quietly. Now, this is the ninja world. The Buddha of Sengoku, Sarutobi Hiruzen, etc. are already safe. Now, after Hitsugaya Toshirō and Byakuya Kuchiki opened the door to pass through, they went back to Soul Society. Kurosaki Isshin did not leave. Kurosaki Ichigo is the same. Soul Society or something. In Kurosaki Ichigo's view, that's it, he is still used to the world. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Although whether it is the appearance of the pirate or the appearance of the ninja, it seems that they are somewhat different from the present life in his impression. But where his family is, he is also there. Now, Sengoku of Buddha and other naval headquarters executives, as well as the big figures in the ninja world, glanced at each other, their expressions all looked solemn. I didn't expect that my actions this time would become what it is now. Originally, the situation was not responsible between them and Haweko Mundo, Udai and Dai. But at this moment, Seireitei Gotei 13's captain's invitation, what other mysterious force is there to declare war on Soul Society? When I think about it, I feel weird. That captain, my strength, I know, it is stronger than the characters we know so far, but because of the emergence of mysterious forces, he asked us to see him. This matter. Sengoku of Buddha has a completely calm face. He didn't say what he said. But what it means is already obvious. The development of the matter, even the captain, felt that it was not a trivial matter. After looking at each other, Sengoku of Buddha and the shadows of the major ninja villages began to discuss when to go to see the captain of Gotei 13. Therefore, in the Iron Country, the discussion continued. Orochimaru, this is the first time. Looking at these people's discussions, Jiraiya couldn't help but say something blankly. What the first time? Orochimaru was a little expressionless. The 5 ninja villages, so united, this is the first time, isn't it? Jiraiya said solemnly. Find flowers. This is the first time in his life that he has seen the shadows of the ninja world. Everyone, daimyo, can discuss something in this way. Even Haweko Mundo can't be beaten, not to mention the upcoming mysterious forces that dare to slap Seireitei. Orochimaru said coldly. This is not the arrival of peace, but the news of the group. Even so, it seems that ninja, which Orochimaru finds boring, has become more and more interesting. So many unknowns, so many mysteries, Orochimaru really wants to make things clear. You guy, don't you ever have good words in your mouth? Jiraiya scolded with a smile. Actually, you are worried about the village. Perhaps. Orochimaru nodded irresponsibly. 0. There is no doubt that the news of the defeat of the allied forces in the ninja world will soon spread in the ninja world. And the pirate world, compared to the ninja world, they knew it earlier because of the live phone worm. At this moment, the major forces in the pirate world are dead and silent, and the revolutionary army is no longer in trouble. Pirate world. I know the terrifying and power of Gotei 13 very well, but suddenly a mysterious force appeared, who dared to write a war book to Gotei 13 and issue a war declaration. What I think about this is something that people can't understand. In the end, what kind of force have such courage? Ibang. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at Hot MTL novel for free. At the same time, the ninja world is a sensation. At this moment, he noticed a figure behind him, kneeling on one knee. Luda's right arm was directly beheaded, and blood splashed. Chuan. This is an invisible empire. Enough. An ice-like palace. Invisible and terrible shots. Seeing this, Luda smiled disdainfully. It's really rare to let you bow your head to greet you like this. I want to come. You have failed the mission. Shame, but you don't need to bow to me. What? Luda's pupils shrank and became a little unhappy. Who do you think you are talking to? Several figures who issued a declaration of war to Yamamoto Genryūsai appeared here. The pirate world is dead. The tail beast's nature is Luda's. Suddenly, a cold voice fell. Kneeling down to Yibang who was there, gritted his teeth and said, it's ridiculous, would I bow my head to a guy like you? Chapter 271. Luda's eyes widened, his right arm had been completely cut off, and for a while, blood dripped. Amidst the screams, the throne in front of him was already sitting with a figure. This was the shadow of Yūhabak. No one could see his true face, only a pair of fierce eyes were so clear. Really, how many times will I tell you to understand, don't argue in front of me. There was an unfeeling color in his tone. I don't like fighting. After the voice fell, a slight smile was drawn at the corner of the mouth. Okay, let me listen to your report on peace. Losing an arm, because of the power of Yūhabak, he could no longer recover. Arankar Ludas was breathing nervously at this moment, and the severe pain made him speechless for a while. Don't force yourself, Ludas. The man above the throne said faintly. Seeing that you are injured like this, it seems that it is difficult to sit down, so you can just lie down and talk back. I approve it. Yes. Yes. Ludas took a deep breath and said cautiously. It's just. The friend Habak above the throne suddenly changed his words. If you can't even sit, then your feet shouldn't be there anymore. Upon hearing this, Ludas shuddered from the depths of his heart. He hurriedly said. No, it was just a joke. How can I lie down in front of the great majesty? Ludas, absolutely I dare not act so unreasonably. The shadow of Yūhabak grinned coldly. Now Ludas has tried his best to support his body and is no longer lying on the ground. Really? Then let me listen to your report. Yūhabak's voice is still so ruthless. Yes. Facing the friend Habak, what can Ludas do? He can only nod his head. I have declared war against Seireitei. Your Majesty, I think it only takes 5 days before we can completely take Seireitei. Ludas said this, he felt that His Majesty would love to listen to his words. Is it only 5 days? Yūhabak said lightly at the moment. He wanted to let the Spirit King know who was the strongest. The winner of this game is his friend Habak. Yes, Your Majesty, this way we in Soul Society will win, we must win. Ludas said another word immediately. Listen to your tone, are you a prophet in front of me now? There was no sorrow or joy in Yūhabak's eyes, and he asked suddenly. This, that. Ludas took a deep breath, completely wondering how to reply. Answer me, are you a prophet? Yūhabok said lightly. This. Ludas's pupils widened, with a bad feeling. Then why are you talking about 5 days from now? Yūhabok lowered his cold eyes. I want to hear now. No one has seen how Yūhabok made it. Splashing blood. Ludas has been completely destroyed. Looking at this scene, Yibang was so scared that his eyes jumped suddenly. Ibang. The man on the throne said another word. Yes, I am here. Yibang immediately returned. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Even if he is late, what awaits him will be a tragic ending. I don't intend to punish you in particular. Yūhabok said lightly. You should be able to deal with Kurosaki Ichigo, right? Yes. Yibang responded immediately. I can, I am very grateful. Your mission is over. After hearing Yibang's reply, Yūhabok turned again. You, become the cornerstone of peace. What? Yibang hasn't recovered yet. Yibang turned into blood and splashed out. Yūhabok sat on the throne. There was no sadness or joy in the tone, and there was no movement at all. Whether it's Hueco Mundo, or this world, it's just my little cornerstone before attacking Soul Society. The Spirit Palace. Yūhabok. Want to jump out of this game and become the dominant player. Chen Tian shook his head slightly. Ding, congratulations on getting 100,000 shock points for Ludas. Ding, congratulations on getting 100,000 shock points from Yibang. But be frightened, not enough. If the building of an invisible empire is still lacking, much. Yūhabok is so cruel. Chen Tian stretched out his palm. In the palm of his hand, there are some light clusters. All the dead creatures in this game will come to Chen Tian's hands. But for some useless guys, Chen Tian doesn't need it either. A squeeze of the palm. The light cluster turns into a little photon and disappears from nothing. A good show is about to begin. And Chen Tian is just a person watching the show. In the end, who is the real winner of this game? No doubt. This game will gather many shocking points. Prepare for the emergence of the real Yellow Spring. By the time everything will be complete, Chen Tian needs such a game. At this moment, Chen Tian also needs the ability of the Invisible Empire. But today the Invisible Empire is incomplete. The power of Yūhabok is not complete. The road is still long. Now, Soul Society, Ninja World, Pirate World, no one knows what happened in the Invisible Empire. For the mysterious forces, who is it? In Yamamoto Genryūsai's mind, there was already speculation. But the other parties are still confused, thinking that it is an unknown existence. Shinobi. The shadows of the major ninja villages are important combat power. They will go to Seireitei in a few days. This is an opportunity for us. The country of rain. Whirlpool Nagato's eyes are cold now. Obito turned into a fake Uchiha Madara and stood in front of Uchiha Nagato, and said the strategy he had discussed with Obito. At that time, we can catch the tail beast. If it goes well, you can catch them all at once before they come back. Maelstrom Nagato thought of the power of Garp. That man can actually defeat Geto statue, the existence in Hueco Mundo, even Garp is helpless. Thinking of this, Uzumaki Nagato no longer likes to use his head because of Yahiko's death, but he couldn't help but said, but with the power of the tail beast, can it really turn things around? Obito. He was also suspicious. Becoming 10 Tails Jinchuriki can really turn things around. He could see the battle in Hueco Mundo clearly through Yakura's eyes. In the face of such power, what can they do? It must be possible. 1 + 1 will be greater than 2. When the tail beasts gather together, believe me, something beyond Hueco Mundo, the power of Soul Society will be born. The Jew at this moment can't help but show a lot more than in the original, because he is impatient, and his mother won't come out again, who knows what will happen in the future. The horror of the world makes Jew all doubt life. Now he started talking nonsense. But I don't know that at this moment, there is a soul in the shinobi world, who has been watching all the development silently, and he is. Chapter 272. There is a pair of eyes that have been watching the development of Ninja World, and that is Otsutsuki Hagoromo, also known as Sage of Six Paths. The Uchiha clan and the Senju clan, the ancestors of the Uzumaki clan, and the founder of the Ninzong. After his death, his chakra still drifted in the world, silently guarding the ninja world. He also did not expect that the so-called Hueco Mundo, the so-called Soul Society, and the so-called mysterious forces would appear in the ninja world. All development has completely deviated from the trajectory he originally set. It seems that it's also time for me to meet the 13-year-old captain of Gotei. In the eyes of Sage of Six Paths, his meeting with Yamamoto Genryūsai should be the Dragon Tiger meeting. It was a well-rounded meeting, and he hoped that Yamamoto Genryūsai could tell him everything clearly. The shadows of the great ninja village have not returned to their own ninja village, but arranged for some people to go back to preside over the order, and they and some important combat forces have temporarily settled in the Ninja Alliance headquarters in the Iron Kingdom. The same goes for Sengoku and Garp of Buddha and several admiral. As for the affairs of One Piece World 18, it will be temporarily handed over to Tautu and T-Dolphin. They have been pondering these days what the Seireitei captain was asking them to say. They themselves continued to guess in their hearts. As Sarutobi Hiruzen, Onoki and others, as well as people like Sengoku Garp of Buddha and Lieutenant General Crane, they are also very knowledgeable. But this time the meeting couldn't help them not paying attention. After all, it was the strongest captain of Gotei 13 who was looking for them. Seireitei Hiruzen of Ninja World and others have learned from the mouth of Buddha Sengoku that the captain is powerful and terrifying. Did you decide to leave today? Now Namikaze Minato looked at the ninja who was going to accompany. It can be said that the important guy Konoha said he wanted to follow. Konoha fell on Utatane Kaharu. Mito was not in the hands of these two elders. In Namikaze Minato's opinion, would this be a bit wrong? Trust my two former comrades in arms, they are also very powerful, and there should be no problem managing Konoha temporarily. Seireitei Hiruzen now speaks slowly to Namikaze Minato. As for the heads of Konoha's major families, it is not difficult to understand. After all, this meeting is very important. Hearing such a conversation, Namikaze Minato can only nod his head now. It means that nothing has happened in the past few days. E.g., Yakura is dead, now Mizukage is Terumi Mei. It turned out that Yakura's performance was too weird and attracted the attention of Miss Shinobi's executives. The executives suspected that Yakura was being manipulated, and finally Ching used a white eye to relieve Yakura's illusion. There are some people behind Terumi Mei now. One of the ninjas. It attracted Orochimaru's attention. Orochimaru was studying the soul recently. He could see that there seemed to be something wrong with the Mist Shinobi ninja, his soul, and himself. But Orochimaru didn't say much, he thought it was enough to pay attention to it. Now that everyone is here and I decided to go to Seireitei today, let's start. Sengoku of Buddha took a deep breath. I didn't expect to be able to go to Seireitei by myself. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Rao is the marshal of naval headquarters, and the mood of Buddha Sengoku at this moment is also quite wonderful. Five shadows nodded at the same time. Suddenly, he took out the technical development bureau left by Hitsugaya Tōshirō. After injecting each other's strength, but there was a vision. The golden beam of light began to descend, and then toward both sides, a door appeared. It's a different kind of crossing gate. At the other end of the door, is a huge city. In that world, there is also a vast blue sky. The cities of that world are endless. That world, the architecture is magnificent, with an indescribable spirit. Looking at the scenery of Soul Society, they were shocked, and they felt that their breathing was not smooth. No one thought that one day he could come to Soul Society without having to die. Seireitei, it really is vast. Sengoku and other important marines such as the Buddha, Seireitei Hiruzen and other big figures in the ninja world are shocked in their hearts one by one. There has never been such a tense moment, even if they have long been well informed. Of course, they soon recovered. Let's go. It is good. Raikage, restrain your temper. In front of the captain, don't be presumptuous. I know. Fourth Raikage knew that he was only a small person at the moment, and couldn't help nodding. In front of Yamamoto Genryūsai, none of them is weak. They just entered. Welcome to you here. Urahara Kazuki brought his students to greet him. I saw the students behind Urahara Kazuki, Whitebeard, Kazuki Oden, Tiger, Princess Otahime, and the faces of Sengoku and Marine of Buddha are wonderful, especially Garp. I didn't expect to see Ace again. Now I can't help but jump up. Ace. The nasal discharge came out with excitement. With grandson Luffy, it is actually a virtue. Ace. At this moment, his mood is complicated. To be honest, he also treated Garp as a grandfather. But his mood is complicated, not just because of Garp, the marine in front of him is so dazzling. The Buddha Sengoku also knew that Ace looked into his eyes with hostility, he couldn't help sighing, the next moment. The Buddha Sengoku also saw Corazon, his son. The Buddha Sengoku also went up immediately. He and Corazon looked at each other, but no one spoke, but the bear hugged each other. The people in the world of ninja are stunned. Zephyr also found out that his family was there, and Zephyr, Admiral, who did not kill, was crying bitterly. He and his family hugged immediately. Zephyr never hoped that he could still see his family. The people in ninja world looked at each other. Seireitei Hiruzen is a little flustered, will one day see Senju Hashirama, Senju Tobarama and Senju people. What do I do? Give the pot to Danzo. Don't see the white teeth, what should I do? Or throw the pot to Danzo? At this moment, Seireitei Hiruzen's face was pale. Namikaze Minato didn't do anything wrong. He looked around, hoping to see his dead parents, Obito and Lin. Even Lang Jun Orochimaru looked around, looking for his parents. The same is true for Tsunade. Okay, guys, I was ordered to pick you up. Urahara Kazuki smiled now and said, this is still Rukongai's area, please come with me now. Chapter 273. Above the sky, the translucent barrier was shining into the blue sky. There are buildings all around. Even among marines and ninjas, there are intelligence personnel who specialize in topography. At this moment, he couldn't tell where he and the others were. Especially after coming here, all the marines and ninjas really felt the huge extent of the city in front of them, which was far beyond their expectations. It is many times larger than Konoha village. Moreover, the whole here seems to be divided into two parts. At this moment, those who are proficient in exploration techniques and ninjutsu in the marine ninja team naturally began to explore. Naturally, there are ninjas from Konoha village, so Namikaze Minato at this time also got some clues about the size of Seireitei. Boundless. Of course, in order not to offend Seireitei directly. Whether it's marine or ninja, their perception abilities have not fully let go, they just perceive the surrounding situation a little bit. It is precisely because of this that, at this moment, the Buddhas Sengoku and Namikaze Minato and other high-level people probably figured out the city they are in, and it is obviously considered to be divided into two parts. One part of it is where they are at this time. The other part is the inner city surrounded by the tall walls. Within the inner city, from the outside, it is obvious that there are mountains higher than the periphery, and the gorgeous buildings. As for the place where they are now called the Ghost Street by Urahara Kazuki, it seems to be the place where civilians live. Everyone, now what we have just passed through is the entrance door to Soul Society, now come with me, the destination of our trip is Seireitei ahead. At this time, Urahara Kazuki, he obviously saw the various doubts in the hearts of Marine and the ninjas, as well as some agitation in their hearts, so he immediately introduced, we must pass through Seireitei's door to be able to enter it. By the way, you must not walk around at will, otherwise, you may be caught as a travel accident and transferred directly to the Palace of Confession. Soul Society. Wandering Soul Street. Access door. Travel disaster. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Confession Palace. With that, Urahara Kazuki's voice fell. The many Marines and ninjas present all immediately noted these key terms. Soul Society should be what they call the world they are in. As for Rukongai, it should be this place that seems to be for civilians to live in. However, the civilians here are afraid that many of them are amazing people. The access door, it should be the huge door before. From what he means, I am afraid that the access door here is not only the one I saw just now. And as for the travel disaster, the Palace of Confession, what is it? At this time, many Marines and ninjas were all thinking in their own minds. However, they did not take any further action afterwards. After all, this has just come to other people's home, as long as they are not crazy, they will not take any unfavorable actions. It was precisely because of this that everyone followed Urahara Kazuki all the way and kept moving forward. Not in time afterwards. They came to a gate under the tall wall. This door looks extremely solemn and ancient, with many lines engraved on it, which gives people a comfortable feeling. The lines are extremely tidy, and there is a long history inside. And ancient breath. And on its door, there are huge words written West White Road Gate. See here. Many Marines and ninjas are thinking in their hearts, this should be the Seireitei Gate in the east. In other words, there should be a door in the four directions, southeast, northwest, and northeast. As for Kurosaki Ichigo and Kurosaki Isshin, father and son, they just walked quietly. There is not too much speech and mental activity. At this moment, I saw a strong man standing beside that door, with long hair at his waist, a red hat on his head, and a silver armor on his left arm. Holding two huge axes in the shape of a 7 character in his hand. Above the axe, there is the red word, see. Urahara, these are the Marines of the pirate world that the captain said. Ninjas of the ninja world. And Kurosaki father and son. At this time, the brawny man who looked like a doorman, his brow furrowed slightly, his eyes scanned the Marine and the ninja behind Urahara Kazuki, as well as Kurosaki Isshin, etc. Although there are no offensive words in his words, except for Kurosaki Isshin and Kurosaki Ichigo, everyone else can feel the strong man, the disdain and the lofty attitude from his bones. This is what makes Marine and the ninjas extremely unhappy. Quote. See Danfang, they are all guests of the captain. When Urahara Kazuki heard the words of Yigan Sake Tanbo, his expression darkened slightly, and he seemed to be a little unhappy, and said softly. Well, of course I know. The brawny man Urahara Kazuki called Saidanfang nodded to Urahara Kazuki, then turned around and slowly raised his hand towards the closed door. Following that, after the two axes in his hand emitted countless red rays like spells, the huge white door opened immediately. Immediately afterwards, with the opening of the white door, the translucent enchantment in the sky shook slightly at the same time. Seeing this scene mixed, whether it is Marine or a ninja, their hearts suddenly understand, the money is good. It seems that the four doors of Seireitei completely shrouded the entire Seireitei enchantment through a certain method. Binding. Without the permission of the gatekeeper, it would be almost impossible to enter Seireitei. By contrast, Sengoku and Aokiji of the Buddha, the senior leaders of naval headquarters such as Sengoku and Aokiji felt sour in their hearts. Of course, the shadows of the ninja world also had some uncomfortable feelings in their hearts. After all, compared to Seireitei's high-end defensive skills, nowadays, whether it is naval headquarters or ninja village, everything still adopts the most primitive system of guarding the door. It feels a little bit sour when you look at it. Especially the Buddha Sengoku and Namikaze Minato and Seireitei Hiruzen. You know, naval headquarters is broken again and has not been restored yet, while Konoha village only experienced 2 waves of attacks some time ago. Chapter 274. Okay. Go in. At this moment, after Yiguan Ban Si Danfang opened the Beidaemon, he stood aside, just said these 5 words, and said nothing more. With that, the voice of Sake Danbo fell. Urahara Kazuki nodded slightly and moved on. Marine and ninjas, Kurosaki Isshin and Kurosaki Ichigo, father and son, naturally let go of their complex emotions in their hearts and walked inward in the footsteps of Urahara Kazuki. When everyone enters Seireitei, except for Urahara Kazuki, Kurosaki Isshin and Kurosaki Ichigo, everyone else looked like Grandma Lu who had never seen the world before, and there was a touch of shock on their faces. After all, compared to the wandering spirit street outside, the buildings inside Seireitei seem extremely high-end and high-end. Just standing here, they can clearly see the distance, a tall building that says, Technology Development Bureau, and all kinds of gorgeous and luxurious mansions that look old and long. In addition, they looked up and saw Shinigami wearing Gotei 13 uniforms patrolling around. Moreover, the closer to the center of Seireitei, the more Shinigami patrolled, and the more frequent. Not long after, they came to a huge building. This is the headquarters of our Gotei 13, and it is also the core of the arch-guarding palace. When he came to this building, Urahara Kazuki said in a solemn manner. Everyone can hear the seriousness and admiration from his words. The captain, as well as the captains of other squads, are waiting for you inside, let's go. Speaking of which, Urahara Kazuki turned to look at the crowd, and said, however, this is not something that all of you can enter. Marines Buddha Sengoku, and Admiral, all the shadows of the ninja world, you add 1 or 2 followers. Besides Kurosaki Isshin and Kurosaki Ichigo, other marine and ninja guests, please wait in place. Quote. Urahara Kazuki looked at the few people he said, meaning it was obvious. It is good. As for the Admiral of Sengoku of Buddha, and the shadows, they had obviously guessed that this would happen in countless previous meetings. After all, the meeting between Marine and Ninja and Seireitei will ultimately be decided by a few bigwigs. As for the entourage, to a greater extent, it is actually just a kind of soft deterrence to show your own strength. If you really have the strength, even if you are a person, the other party will value you. So, it didn't take much time. Read more at mtlarchive.com. The Marine executives and filmmakers, who had already arranged for them, let most of their subordinates stay on standby. Kurosaki Isshin and Kurosaki Ichigo didn't say anything, and the father and son followed them quietly. There are actually only about 20 or 30 people who really want to participate in the talks. And just entered the headquarters of Gotei 13. Almost everyone's body shape was immediately startled. Because, at this moment, several figures are already standing in front of them. Without exception, they all wore the uniform of Captain Gotei 13. In addition to Byakuya Kuchiki, the captain of the 6th Division, and Hitsugaya Tōshirō, the captain of the 10th Division, who appeared not long ago. There is also Jashiro Yukitaki, the captain of the 13th Division that Namikaze Minato has met. Zaraki Kenpachi, the captain of the 11th Division that Marine executives have met. At this time, standing at the forefront of these captains was an old man who looked very old. He is dressed in white. Captain Haori, his eyes are shining slightly, he is holding a cane in his hand, he has a cross-shaped scar on his face, a silver white beard tied with a purple belt, and a short black beard, as well as countless fighting scars. Strong body. Marines should remember the old man. The old man is the captain of the Gotei 13 team, Yamamoto Genryūsai. At this time, the old man spoke softly. Although he looked downright old, his voice was extremely loud. Guests from afar, please take your seats. Yamamoto Genryūsai said again. Marine Sengoku, Aokiji and others looked at Yamamoto Genryūsai a little angrily. After all, Yamamoto Genryūsai brought a lot of Shinigami to the people who turned the Holy Land Mary Geoise into ruins. However, even so, they did not say anything at this time. Buddhism Sengoku and Aokiji and other marine seniors know that nowadays, they can be said to be living under people and have to bow their heads. If they are angry, they may become corpses. Kurosaki Isshin and Kurosaki Ichigo nodded slightly, walked directly to the seats and sat down. As for the shadows of the ninja world, their eyes gathered on Yamamoto Genryūsai. Although Yamamoto Genryūsai looks like an extremely pale old man on the surface, even so, they still dare not despise Yamamoto Genryūsai. This is the current captain of the 3rd Division, Odoribashi Rojiro. While talking, and Yamamoto Genryūsai is obviously a refreshing person, and he said straightforwardly, although Marine, almost everyone knows the captains of my Gotei 13, but everyone in the ninja world does not know him, I would like to introduce it. Yamamoto Genryūsai raised his hand and pointed to the 2 captains beside him. Captain of the 2nd Division, Broken B. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Chinese MTL fan fiction, Second Element novel can be read at Hot MTL novel for free. At this point in the introduction, all the captains who were not known in the ninja world were introduced. Quote. But, later, Yamamoto Genryūsai pointed to a man with a wave-necked suit and dressed like a medieval English nobleman. He had long golden wavy hair and purple eyes. However, nowadays, the guest does whatever the host does. The captain of the 9th Division, Muguruma Kensai. The captain of the 4th Division, Unohana Retsu. Everyone below, whether it is Marine or a ninja, their expressions are a little confused and weird. This is a man wearing a unique pink haori with a hat on his head and a little beard on his chin. Marines Buddha Sengoku, Aokiji and others, as well as the shadow of ninja, since they originally came with kindness, they naturally had to find their own seats and sit down according to each other's wishes. This is the captain of the 8th Division, Hiraku Shunsui. After all, in any case, Yamamoto Genryūsai is the man who commanded Gotei 13, and the guy who can rule the people of Gotei 13 subduedly cannot be easily ignored in any case. Chapter 275. Gotei 13. In other words, there are 13 captains. However, nowadays, there are only 11 people with Yamamoto Genryūsai. Could it be that the other 2 captains went out to perform tasks? Many Marines and ninjas think so in their hearts. But, obviously, regardless of things like this, whether it is the senior marine leaders such as Sengoku and Aokiji of the Buddha, or the shadows of the ninja world, they are embarrassed to ask anything, so they can only think in their hearts. In addition, I'm investigating some things. The old man can see clearly what you are doing in Hueco Mundo, and you are doing everything right wrong. At this time, Yamamoto Genryūsai spoke again. The old man invites you to come, just to reach some special agreements. Fortunately, in the future, the three of us, no, it should be said that the four parties Kurosaki Ichigo, Kurosaki Isshin can live together peacefully and hope to listen to the dispatch of Soul Society. Yamamoto Genryūsai's voice just fell. Everyone around, no matter who it was stunned. Why didn't they think that Seireitei wanted to dispatch them? What on earth is it? Immediately afterwards, Yamamoto Genryūsai said again, in the near future, there will be a misfortune. It is caused by mysterious forces. It seems that Gotei 13 has really been attacked by some force. What is that force? After hearing Yamamoto Genryūsai's words, all the people of Insight present were thinking this way in their hearts. After all, from the news they know, only Hueco Mundo can put such pressure on Seireitei's Gotei 13. Buddha Sengoku frowned and asked, I want to ask, what mysterious force is it? Queenskiller. Yamamoto Genryūsai said without hesitation. Quincy. Hear this name. Whether it's marine or ninja, everything is stunned. Only Kurosaki Ichigo and Kurosaki Isshin straightened their backs instantly. What is the Quincy? Sengoku of Buddha immediately asked again. Yamamoto Genryūsai heard the words and shook his head gently. Quincator, it's too long to speak. It's okay, you can speak slowly. Upon hearing Yamamoto Genryūsai's words, Namikaze Minato replied. The rest of the people also looked at Yamamoto Genryūsai with suspicion. They all hoped that the captain could speak freely, and the more he said, the better. After all, the more they talk, the more information they can get from it. Also, listen to the tone of Yamamoto Genryūsai. Read more at mtlarchive.com. This Quincy seems to be very powerful. Queenskillers, they are scattered all over our world. They are a demonic group with a long history of thousands of years. They are all things formed with spirits, as weapons, their weapons are extremely powerful. Yamamoto Genryūsai introduced the origin and strength of the Quincy. Afterwards, he turned around. Although Shu is the target of our Gotei 13. However, we kill Shu, only to purify the soul of Shu, and then the Zus continue to reincarnate. However, once the Quincy kills them, they will directly kill Shu completely. And the number of Shu will kill one and one less. Moreover, you probably don't know that the number of people and souls in our world is balanced. If the imaginary is killed by the Quincy, then it will break the original balance and cause my world to perish directly. Quote. Yamamoto Genryūsai's words were extremely smooth, and he was finished by dividing 2 by 2. But, what Yamamoto Genryūsai said caused an uproar in the hearts of everyone present. Because there are too many things in the captain's words. Is the Quincy an existence that wants to destroy the world? Moreover, according to the captain, it seems that their strength is very good. And that was when everyone was digesting Yamamoto Genryūsai's words. Yamamoto Genryūsai's gaze suddenly turned towards a Kurigakure ninja. He frowned and said solemnly, Your Excellency, is it time to show your true face? Hear what Yamamoto Genryūsai said. All the people present turned their eyes to the Kurigakure ninja. Of course they couldn't see who the person stared at by Yamamoto Genryūsai was. So, for the first time, they were all dumbfounded. Soon, Kurigakure's ninja fell. A soul body emerged from its body. This is a 6-hook jade necklace with 2 horns on the head. This person is no one else, but Otsutsuki Hagoromo, Sage of 6 Paths. Find flowers. Who are you? Yamamoto Genryūsai spoke faintly towards Sage of 6 Paths. As he said, he got up with a cane in his hand and walked in front of Sage of 6 Paths. And Marines Buddha Sengoku and Aokiji and others, several shadows in the ninja world, all looked solemnly at Sage of 6 Paths. It doesn't matter who I am. Sage of 6 Paths finally spoke. I just hope you can tell all the information about your world, the information about the Spirit King, and everything you know. Hear the words of Sage of 6 Paths. Yamamoto Genryūsai smiled. What qualifications do you have to let the old man tell you everything? Yamamoto Genryūsai's tone was full of disdain. How could he, the founder and helm of Gotei 13, tell him a secret because of a word from an unknown person? ... 0. This is what makes Sage of 6 Paths extremely angry. Okay, let you see if the old man has the so-called qualifications. At this time, Sage of 6 Paths immediately used the true clone technique. He didn't want to fight Soul Society, he just hoped that Soul Society would recognize his abilities and feel that he is qualified to know everything. In an instant, Sage of 6 Paths has changed many clones. This shocked the audiences such as Namikaze Minato and Onoki. Because, they all felt the body of Sage of 6 Paths from the time Sage of 6 Paths used the true clone technique just now, exuding the waves of chakra that they were familiar with but seemed a little strange. Who is he? It is precisely because of this that Namikaze Minato immediately turned to look at Seireitei Hiruzen and asked softly. In fact, not just Namikaze Minato. At this moment, all the people in the ninja world present were a little confused. The richness of this person's chakra surprised them all. There are chakra fluctuations, emanating from his body. Don't think too much, this person is a person in the ninja world after all. But, all the people in the ninja world present, no matter how they think, can't think of this person who became a Kurigakure ninja and hides between them in the negotiation with Gotei 13, just how sacred is this person? What is his purpose for doing this? Everyone was puzzled. At this moment, Yamamoto Genryūsai, facing the means of Sage of Six Paths, still looks calm. Chuan.